Greetings! Oh, what is up, and a very warm welcome to the channel. The sun is hiding and the magpie is casting. Coming to you all right now with Friday streaming, I guess. Yeah, we're going to do some Company of Heroes 2, a little bit of Deserts of Karak, have ourselves some good old-fashioned RTS fun. I must say, of course, sorry that I was not streaming on Wednesday as I intended to. That was actually due to some technical difficulties on Twitch's end of things. They were having difficulties apparently with new streams that were trying to come online, so I thought it was a problem on my end, so I sort of tried a whole load of things to troubleshoot it, and luckily it turns out that the problem was on their end. So anyway, so yeah, so we're on Friday now. Oh, that's right, yeah, so I was supposed to be streaming later than now, like in an hour's time. But my plans for the weekend have just gotten completely thrown out. So rather than wait and then do a really kind of like short stream, I just thought, what if I start streaming now? And then I can have like a regular length stream, and that will just work much better. So, hey, what's going on, Jono? What's going on, Aki? Good to see you guys in chat. Thank you very much for tuning in, even though I'm streaming at like an hour earlier than I said I would be. Let's have a look at the schedule, shall we? Just so everyone knows what should be going on next week. So this is next week's schedule. This will be week beginning, what, 6th of July, I believe? Yeah, week beginning 6th of July. Mondays is when I'm doing Midday Magpie, streaming at 1100 hours GMT. Although, now I think about it, hang on, I'm going to need to adjust that actually, because I have like a regular business call that I need to make, which is going to clash with that. So there we go. Yeah, Mondays we're going to be doing Midday Magpie at 1200 hours GMT. And then Wednesday and Thursday we're going to be streaming in the evenings at 1700 hours GMT. Why the change to Wednesday and Thursday? Well, basically it occurred to me, if I'm streaming on Friday evenings, that basically messes with any plans that I might have for the weekend, like rolling in. So, because, you know, like if I want to go away for the weekend or whatever, but I'm streaming on a Friday evening, then that just kind of, it's not the best idea. So anyway, I'm still figuring out all the scheduling stuff. I'm still figuring out like Twitch and streaming and this entire thing. So thank you very much, everybody, for bearing with me while I get my schedule in order and figure out what actually works. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing next week. Let's now turn our attention to the main event, Company of Heroes 2. Now we've got what should be a pretty nice game here. I'm hoping, anyway. So spawning in the east as the Overcommand West pieces, it's going to be Caesar. So Caesar, we've seen a few examples of their UKF play recently. A really sort of quite idiosyncratic, like you can tell that it's Caesar playing, you know what I mean? Like Caesar has quite a well-presented and like quite apparent style, at least when playing UKF. So it'd be a nice opportunity to investigate just exactly how Caesar will want to play OKW, a faction which actually doesn't get a sniper, which is like one of Caesar's like best units generally. We see him use a UKF sniper like every game, even in the late game, just building them in the late game and doing well with them. So yeah, I was really curious when I saw Caesar playing OKW, thought we'd jump into this game, and spawning in the West, playing as the United States forces. It's going to be the heavy cavalry doctrine of Rajan, or the heavy cavalry company, I suppose the American commanders are called, aren't they? So the table is set here on Vilshanka for what should be a pretty good duel here. Looks like Caesar going with a Kubel opening. Caesar as well going for the Overwatch doctrine. So this is a doctrine which I was skeptical about for quite some time. And then, by the way, only 1080p 60 is available now. Oh, I don't know about that, Eki HQ. Thanks for bringing it to my attention, but because I'm not like a full Twitch partner, I don't think I actually get control over what resolutions Twitch offers. So I don't know why only that option is available right now. I'm guessing that's something on Twitch's end, but after the stream I will investigate. Thank you very much for pinging it up. I hope that it doesn't mess with your viewing experience. But yeah, Caesar here going to be repping the Overwatch doctrine, which I was skeptical about, actually. I was skeptical about it appearing so much in the meta. I didn't really appreciate all of the things that it could offer. That is interesting, Aki HQ. That it's lagging. To be honest, it's lagging even for me, because I've got a second computer just like monitoring the stream just to sort of make sure it works okay, and it is kind of lagging a little bit. So I don't know. I'll just keep an eye on it. Like I say, unfortunately, I don't get custom settings at the moment because I'm not like a high enough rated Twitch streamer, or like I haven't like completed the partnership scheme or whatever it is. To be honest, I don't really pay much attention to all that stuff. But anyway, so yeah, this Overwatch Doctrine is actually like pretty interesting stuff. Clearly the Jaeger Light Infantry are good. We've seen them be good multiple times. Sprint, plant booby traps, they do a lot of useful stuff. It is really good. You know what, actually? Hang on a second. I'm just going to make sure like Steam isn't downloading or something, because sometimes Steam just starts a sneaky download in the background. No, we're good. Huh. Yeah, alright, cool. Yeah, sorry, sometimes like Steam or like Blizzard Downloader or like even Origin, if it's somehow managed to like virusishly find a way to run on my computer, like sometimes they just start downloads and it starts hampering my internet. But alright, Jono, good to hear that everything's cool for you then. That's some useful feedback as well. So anyway, yeah, Overwatch Doctrine, as I keep going back to, yeah, Jaeger Light Infantry, really good. Goliaths, I mean, not very good at the high level of play, it seems. We don't often see them used, but I love them because at my level of play, they're a good laugh. Maybe not for my opponents, but certainly for me. For the Fatherland is actually pretty useful. It's like quite a reasonable cost at only 50 munitions. And I actually quite like the defensive bonus. I feel like often with OKW in the first 15 minutes of the game, when you've just got Volksgrenadiers or such in cover trading, that defensive bonus can actually just make you outlast your allied opponents and take a fight. Which for 50 munitions for a 30-second buff, not too bad, to be honest. You get the Left 18, which I've honestly really yet to see OKW get too much use out of, but who knows, maybe this is a good map for it. Certainly there's enough room that you can place it and defend it on this map, so I don't know. Maybe that's going to be a useful one. And then, of course, you get the Sector Assault, and this is really why people are taking the Overwatch Doctrine these days, I think. I mean, this is clearly the cherry on the cake. The rest, it's nice that it's all usable, but this Sector Assault, this Sector Assault, goodness me, that really like smacks home. That is some good munition spending. Is it 250? Yeah, 250 though. So it is expensive, but if you can gather those munitions, it delivers a lot of boom for your buck. So looks like it's going to be a Lieutenant into utility car opening here from Rajan. Been a hot minute since I've seen a utility car used in earnest. Nothing wrong with the utility car as far as I know, but just changes to the way that Americans tech. Oh, nice, the veterancy coming down and the anti-vehicle rifle grenade coming through for that United States Rifleman squad. Going to get the kill on the Kugelwagen, but they're never usually long for this world, so not a surprise to see a Kugelwagen burning at the 5-minute mark. And with triple Volks, Jaeger Light, Storm Pioneer, Caesar is not in a bad place. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, the utility car ought to still be fine, really. Storm Pioneer's feeding in here, Caesar. Got to be careful. Falling back across negative cover. 3 riflemen there. Would have been tempting, I think, perhaps for Rajan to just keep shooting for a split second longer, because that was definitely some squad wipeable shots on negative cover that were happening there. But, it's gonna escape just for now, are those Storm Pioneers, so that's crucial. Losing the Storm Pioneers, like any time early on for OKW, feels so crushing. Like, they are... You just cannot afford to lose them in pretty much ever, but I mean, certainly in the first 10 minutes of the game, that is some bad news stuff. Triple cap here, established for Caesar for quite a long time, means that despite this game only being 6 minutes old, he's got a 120-odd ticket lead now. That's pretty beefy, man. That is actually a ton of value to have gotten, so that is wonderful work there. Nicely done for Caesar. And actually, look, the American player is actually prioritizing going for some reason, this point with a couple of squads. Rajan needs to spread these infantry out a bit, perhaps, and just, you know, get capping, because this triple cap is still going on. He's hemorrhaged like 140 tickets now. Or at least he will have by the time... Okay, finally American boots get onto mid. Finally American boots get onto the South VP, but... Yoicks! That was looking nasty! So... Yeah, it looks like Rajan finally going to get his house in order here a little bit. American forces fanning out. Going to grab the fuel point. Going to get himself off the clock here in just a second. So that is nice. German forces now reinforced and ready to look for more rumbling on the map here. They're going to come on out. Volksgrenadiers, Storm Pioneers, all the stuff we're used to seeing. It's a Battle Gripper HQ opening here from Caesar, who has placed that Battle Gripper HQ safely within the base. Whoa, Storm Pioneers! Once again, getting hosed. Stun grenade comes down. Was that a bit of a premature fallback? That is 9 riflemen who are falling back That seems a bit premature if you ask me. I think Rajan... I mean, taking a stun grenade is not the end of the world, and I don't quite understand why Rajan felt forced to remove those 9 riflemen from the front line. They would have been useful for sure. I mean, now these Volks are just going to sort of be able to get some value here. Going to claim that middle VP. Datton! Hey friend, good to see you in chat. Sorry I wasn't streaming on Wednesday if you've just tuned in. I don't know if you heard, but yeah, Twitch were having some difficulties, so that's why I wasn't streaming on Wednesday. But yeah, here I am. It's Friday. I'm streaming an hour ahead of schedule because I was just sitting here at home thinking, I'm not going to just sit here waiting for an hour to start my stream. I'm just going to start streaming now. So yeah, we're streaming an hour early. Let's rock and roll. Let's do it. RTS! Real-time strategy waits for no man. Caster or otherwise, Magpie or otherwise. So anyway, this utility car has had its engine donked. Must have gotten tagged by a Faust up here somehow. But Rifleman going to do Rifleman things here, taking fights against Volksgrenadiers, as we often see. It's going to be a Stuart following this utility car out here. So a light vehicle-centric style gonna sort of characterize this early game for Rajan. And looks like shoe mines as well, going to be placed down here for Caesar. And safe to say, so far, this OKW sort of gameplay that we're seeing from Caesar, I mean, double Jaeger Lights and a Kubel are all completely, like, those are some options. Those are some sort of idiosyncratic touches there from Caesar. Like, obviously, the Kubelwagen is optional, and I would say we probably only see Kubelwagen openings from OKW players maybe 1 game out of 3, or something like that, it feels like. And Jaeger Lights are amazing. We always see 1 squad, but 2 squads at this relatively early juncture. Now, that is somewhat idiosyncratic. So, Caesar here... I mean, if we know anything about Caesar from their UKF play, it's that they do just like solid, reliable infantry, and using solid, reliable infantry productively and just smartly, I guess. It's like, I would say Caesar just has really good fundamentals, like really good, solid core gameplay for Company of Heroes 2. Whoa, that sounded like the shoe mines. Yep, shoe mines going to connect onto those rear ash. This is game 1, Datton, absolutely. So, yeah, looks like Caesar here going to transfer that calm, competent style to the OKW faction. And I wonder if Caesar is actually going to be a bit of a brute once we get some MG34s and some Obersoldaten out. I actually really want to see what Caesar can get done with Obersoldaten. And to be honest, a second set of G43s, because Caesar demonstrated quite a lot of skill with snipers. And the Jaeger Lights are obviously the closest thing that OKW gets to a sniper, so that seems pretty exciting as well. There are some M6 anti-vehicle mines around the place, so that utility car has been busy laying mines here, on perhaps looking to catch out a potential Puma or Panzer II. But those vehicles will not be here, of course, because it is Battle Gripper HQ, and you know, OKW don't have quite the same tells. American forces, officers are amazing, but if they do have a drawback, it's that they do sort of project what tech you've gone for into your opponent's face. Like, if you get caught off guard by a Stuart when you're playing against American forces, like, something has to have gone wildly wrong, because, like, you're gonna see the lieutenant, right? You always know what tech the American player has gone for, except sometimes Major, if the Major is lurking at the back or hiding around the place. But with OKW, you don't really have such great information unless you can actually go and see what car they've put down until a unit comes out, or what truck they put down, I should say. Until a unit comes out, you don't actually know so well. So these M6 mines popping up around the place, possibly those munitions may have been saved, and we could have seen earlier racks, earlier BARs for the US player if they'd have known that they're up against a flak half-track opening, but a Battle Gripper HQ opening. But even Battle Gripper HQ can give you access to the flak half-track, so I don't know. Maybe my point holds no water. Anyway, Rangers are here on the field, present and correct. Tommy gun upgrade, going to be coming on down for them. So, and looks like the second Schwervermacht Schlepper going to be on the queue just now. So, Schwerpanzer HQ will be on its way here in the next couple of minutes. And then we will have the option for the radically affordable Obersoldaten, which is kind of crazy. The rain shut down your internet, Aki HQ. Goodness me. Do you live kind of like out of a city then? Because I mean, usually when I hear people having rain problems with their net, that's because they live like somewhere really rural. So I mean, yeah, wow, that's pretty crazy. All right, so the Kettenwerfer is here, and that is going to really help against this Stuart, and of course the utility car also. American forces getting kind of pushy here. Rangers with Tommy guns blazing away. Lieutenant here going to close in. Breeresh as well. Rifleman providing support at the back here. Kind of quite a nice arc of engagement here for the American player. Ooh, but the Rangers, they press the advantage just a little too hard. Right into the Storm Pioneers. 2 stars of veterancy, of course. Quite the DPS bump for the Storm Pioneers. Oof! And they are going to pile in against that Lieutenant. Going to force him back as well. Gets the wipe on the Lieutenant, no less. I think that was a Jaeger light shot. I think that was quite a well-microed Jaeger light shot, wasn't it? Certainly looked like it. So, okay. It's pretty sick micro there, Caesar, demonstrating those sniper skills. As I pour myself a cup of tea. So, wow. Okay, Caesar. I see you out here getting squad wipes on lieutenants. Cool, that was really nice. Ah, yeah, small town surrounded by smaller rural towns. Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, I mean, I've spent a lot of my life living in sort of quite rural environments like that, and it is amazing what can mess with your internet. Okay, going to be getting the cutoff here as well, these Volksgrenadiers. God, Caesar is really taking the fight to this American player, still with a healthy ticket lead, which is, you know, he has the two victory cap right now. And the American player, in danger now of becoming worryingly compressed on the map. Looks like a nice push here from Rangers and Riflemen is actually going to prevent that from happening. But things were starting to look a little uncomfortable there for Rajan for a moment. Gonna break out nicely now, though. 50 cals popping up onto the roster. We got 2 of them now, and Vilshanka is a map where machine guns... I mean, I feel like I say this about all the maps. Like, this is a map where machine guns do well. But, like, definitely Vilshanka, we see machine guns dominate around the middle of the map, and usually it is the story of whoever can like maintain a machine gun overwatching that middle VP when the game goes late and grindy tends to win on this map. Like, I've seen it plenty of times. So anyway, yep, these 50 cals are going to do quite a good job of mitigating the effectiveness of this OKW infantry. Despite the battle group at HQ, we have no light field gun, so perhaps when Caesar scouts the fact that he's up against double MG, the Lig will come on the queue. That would be a nice adaptation to make. And this utility car has been really good as well, actually, finding a decent amount of value. Machine guns are good on all maps that have victory points, basically. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Wow, that's a Panzer IV. Cool. Yeah, you're right, Aki HQ. What machine guns do is make your opponent's infantry bad, and you need infantry. That is how this game works. So, if you can make your opponent's infantry bad, you will probably be winning. No munitions left over for Goliaths. All in good time, Dan. Perhaps they will be Goliaths later on in this game. Although, as I was saying earlier on, they aren't really seen at these higher levels of play. I just think once you're talking about a certain level of a certain skill level of player, the odds of them actually like screwing up and letting a Goliath score a decent hit are like really slim. But we might still have it. I mean, when the game gets really chaotic and there's a couple more units on each faction, on each team, then yeah, there's room where a Goliath can slip through the cracks and try and find something. And smart players, I notice, what you do is if you sneak a Goliath onto like your opponent's half of the map and then keep it nearby a common fallback path, then when you know that you've broken a unit further out and that unit is falling back, you can just drive the Goliath out onto the fallback path and just blow up that retreating unit. That's one of my favourite ways to use Goliaths. So anyway, Panzer IV here is going to hit the front. I believe, yep, the MG42 Pintle mount is processing on that one, so that will be here soon. And I mean, how good are Panzer IVs right now? Can we just like, wow, aren't Panzer IVs amazing at the moment? I mean, they've always been strong in Company of Heroes, and I'm not saying that they're too strong, but their like anti-infantry damage nowadays seems to be super good. Oh goodness me, looks like the Stuart likely to go down to the next shot from the Panzer IV, but the vision block damage coming down from the Stuart there, using its ability there to jam the turret a little bit. Super annoying. Panzer IV still angry, still hungry, going to pursue here, looking for that Stuart, and he will get the KO blow. So medium tank there, countering small tank. Rifle grenade will connect to damage the engine, but that is an inconvenience at best here, as this Panzer IV, there's just no AT resources for this American player to actually cobble together a kill on that. Speaking of AT resources, though, it would be a shame if this Rakettenwerfer were to fall into American hands, but no, the fallback will come down in a timely manner. And, I mean, Caesar continues to substantially control the midline of the map and apply pressure to the US player. The scoreline difference now just maintaining a healthy lead. And if you look at the top left, look at the top right, it is Caesar who has the stronger composition right now and who has taken or sustained fewer losses over the course of this game. So definitely a lead right now for the OKW player. But this game far from over, plenty of time, 300 or 296 tickets to play with right now for Rajan. A lot of time to rebuild, a lot of time to adapt, a lot of time to counter and get back in this game. I liked the double 50 cal, but it's like we don't have quite enough core infantry to work with. Actually, I've missed a rifleman squad wipe somewhere, actually, haven't I? Whoops. So there we go. That's a really good point, actually, Aki HQ. He probably should have kept that Stuart near the M6 minefield, yeah. Speaking of M6 minefield, Panzer IV here going to fall foul of those M6 mines. There's another set here, but I feel it's going to be very unlikely that the Panzer IV is going to actually like move in that direction, especially with this engine broken. Probably just wants to retreat. Actually quite brave sticking out here. Captain Tech is done, and I was going to say this feels like it might be almost mandatory that Rajan goes for some Captain Tech, because we just need anti-tank. We need hard anti-tank solutions, and the M1 anti-tank gun is that for the American player. So M1 on the queue now, and that absolutely makes sense. Hopefully then this Panzer IV is not going to have free reign of the field. Hopefully then the Panzer IV, its efficiency, its usefulness will be limited by that AT gun. What's up, Who Run Basstown? Good to see you in chat there, friend. Yeah, that was an M6, an M20 mine even. Sorry.
Damn Krauts just wasted some of our riflemen.
Yeah, this commander is insanely munitions hungry. Yeah, I suppose that's a good point, Dan. More so than your average Axis commander. This Panzer IV has just been content to sit still ever since it had its engine broken by that mine. This feels a bit dubious. Oh, Jaeger Light Infantry just abusing this 50 cal though. Looks like they've already picked off a 50 cal squad. Jesus. That's troubling times. Rear with Zooks here gonna threaten this Panzer IV. Caesar is just not moving this Panzer IV. Is the engine actually burst? Oh, it is literally immobilized. Okay, right. That'll be why then. Sorry about that. Yeah, they do completely break the engine. So actually, where's the M1? Oh, the M1... Oh, no. It took a shot, but then it gets flustered by STG-toting Volks. Oh, and taken out. Rajan, are the wheels falling off the bus here? Rajan hemorrhaging weapon teams at a time when that is the last thing he can afford to do. We've already hemorrhaged a 50 cal. Actually, that hasn't been stolen by the Germans yet. But this M1 is getting carried away, and there are other Volks in the hood who could come and threaten this. There's not actually... Can the Major recrew this? He sacks the Major to recrew the M1. A testament to just how dearly he needs this anti-tank support. Now the Storm Pioneers are in position, making repairs to that Panzer IV. The engine will be fixed in a matter of seconds here. So, pardon me. So I actually think it's too late. I think it's actually too late. Yep, the Panzer IV, 1 star of veterancy they're on now. Blitz is available. The engine is fixed. So you ain't going to knock out this Panzer IV. So we lost a major squad to get the M1 back, which is like not the end of the world by any means, but when we're already dealing with having to mitigate a number of other losses, we've taken substantial other blows as this game's gone on. Oh god, and now a second Panzer IV is coming. I feel like Rajan is about to get buried underneath Panzer IVs, and a Sherman is not going to be enough. I don't know how... Rajan, buddy, I don't know how to break it to you, but this is looking real rough. Panzer IV just going to come crushing through the agricultural... Oh, God. This 50 cal will not make it back to base. The M1 AT gun is here, but the pintle mount is focusing that. Now the main gun rotates, and that M1 is probably going to get picked off. Volks with STGs creeping in here. Yep, there it goes. They're even going to grab the 50 cal. Heroic stuff here. And Caesar does not disappoint. Just seemingly as proficient with OKW as they are with... Oh, wow, we've got a Lef 18 as they are with UK forces. Lef 18 is getting constructed here. A rare opportunity to have a look at OKW when they have an artillery support piece here. Geez, this is over. This is over. I am amazed that Rajana's not left the game. This is a hammering now. And again, I think he's cancelled the Stuart and then rebought it. Sorry, the Sherman and then rebought it. So that Sherman is going to be a long way away. Oh, God. The rear Ash getting gibbed there, I believe. Yep, the rear Ash went down, and there's not enough units left. There's not enough units left. I just can't see, even after the Sherman arrives, I cannot see a way that this American player is not dead in this game. And correct me if I'm wrong, can artillery pieces fire into home sectors? Does anyone in chat know that? Anyone with game knowledge out there to set Magpie straight on this one? Because they can. Okay, thanks, you're on Bust Down. In which case, this Lef 18 very likely to be the final nail in the coffin here. Oh God, Panzer IV is just pressing the advantage. Getting busted by another one of those mines though, so that is the engine completely gone on that Panzer IV. Storm Pioneers are in the hood, but there is a captain lurking nearby who might be able to prevent them from repairing as fluently as they would like to. The other Panzer IV is going to transition across, but this is an interesting time for the Sherman to enter play, because one of the Panzer IVs is stricken, but they both still have functioning guns. Whoops. So I don't feel like this... Whoa! The Sherman actually has the best Panzer IV on low life now. Oh, that's a crucial miss to have rolled. The Panzer IV rolls a bounce though. Oh, rolling another miss and another miss. This is getting crazy out here. Units are being wiped out. You can see the Lef 18 firing in the background here. I'm going to keep the camera framing the tank battle here as the Panzer IV slowly gets the upper hand, and that's game. Whew. Okay, Caesar. I see you out here killing stuff, making allied players look kind of bad. Jeez. I mean, that was quite one-sided. Feels like Caesar got ahead and was just never flustered and just kind of was able to steamroll from then. I didn't actually check Eki HQ. I did not check to see if those Storm Pioneers had ever bought the metal detector or not. He was stubbornly just not buying that metal detector though for quite a while. Oh, this should be a fun game. Yeah, we'll jump in and cast this one. Lovely. All right. Well, I think we've got another good one, another good game on the horizon here. We're just loading on in, and then I'll bring you guys in there. Let's just tell you what. Whilst that game's loading up, just because a couple more people have tuned in since I made the schedule announcement. Next week we're doing something a little bit different with the schedule. Okay, so Monday we're doing the Midday Magpie as we're kind of used to by now, but then I'll be doing the evening casting on Wednesday and Thursday. The reason being, I've decided that casting on Friday evenings kind of messes up the weekend a bit, because it means that I just can't go, like, if I have plans for the weekend, it means that like I can't really get to those plans on Friday evening or Friday night. It's like there's just no way to make it work. So yeah, streaming on Friday evening was kind of messing with things a little bit. So that's why I'm streaming a bit earlier today. And that's why next week we'll be streaming on Wednesday and Thursday evening. We're just going to experiment, see how that goes, see if that suits me or not. But anyway, we've got a game to get into here. Spawning in the west as the Overcommand West pieces. It is going to be this one. And spawning in the east, it is going to be an Orange Pest, who playing as the Soviet forces here on Kolodny Farm. Orange Pest, of course, no stranger to the channel, often frequents chat and has some useful things to say, good game knowledge, and is clearly a decent player as well. Well, more than decent, clearly a player at the top end of the game. So let's see what Orange Pest can get done here. I agree, Eki HQ. The American Infantry Corps was way too fragile because it had been whittled down over time by Caesar in that last game, hemorrhaging the lieutenant like quite early on, and then another rifle squad. And in games where you just slowly lose your core units, you know, even over the early phases of the game, that is you're gonna lose a game if you cannot hold on to your infantry squads, and that's kind of what we saw there. I wonder if Orange Pest will do his Advanced Fighting Tactics Commander cheese. You mean Advanced Warfare Tactics, this guy? Huh, we've got some interesting bulletins here actually as well. Let's have a look. Anti-tank... Oh, so we've got the 50% faster Zisgun build that I think is actually really cool. We've got slightly faster mine build, and we've got conscript DPS. For this one, we've got Volksgrenadier DPS. We've got Storm Pioneers build defensive structures 10% faster. Very interesting. And then some more Volksgrenadier DPS. So the choices are Urban Defense Tactics for Orange Pest, Defensive Tactics, and Advanced Warfare Tactics. Now, Advanced Warfare Tactics, there was probably a good 6 months where this was my favourite Soviet commander back in the day. All of these abilities are useful. I love the conscript repair kit. I think it actually makes Soviet armies just flow a lot better in the late game. And so, yeah, that's really cool. And then the IL-2 Stonevik attack is like, it's beefy. It is a beefy ability. Defensive Doctrine is super solid. Now that they've added the anti-tank Overwatch to the Defensive Doctrine Commander, I think it really does. It's a full package. You get things that are useful throughout every stage of the game, and it's a very cool commander. And the Urban Defense Tactics, well, except for the Forward HQ, again, everything you get there is amazing. And the Forward HQ is fine if you're a player like me, but as soon as you get to the top end of the game, players are just very comfortable countering what the Forward HQ does. So this is actually a Special Rifle Command opening, sorry. I'm a little bit slow on the uptake. Of course, there's penal battalions and this scout car flying around, but I hadn't actually said. But yeah, it's a Special Rifle Command opening here from Orange Pest. So, so that's going to be the tech of choice here. Looks like for this one, we've got Scavenge Doctrine, Overwatch Doctrine, and Elite Armored Doctrine. Yeah, those are all absolutely fine. Clown Car! Yeah, Orange Pest, yeah! Run for the hills, yonder Germans. Clown Car is out and about. It's been a while since we've seen the original Clown Car, or the original spicy Clown Car timing, just doing Clown Car stuff. This is what we like. This is what I'm slowly coming to the conclusion that Soviets might be my favourite faction, which is weird because they're definitely not the faction which I have the most playtime with, and they're definitely not the faction which I am, that I'm the most fluent at playing at all. But they are definitely my favourite, they're becoming my favourite faction to play, and I think they're definitely my favourite faction to watch, because Soviets just have so many different playable styles and playable builds. Like, they have so much freedom with what sets of units they can choose to play with. Much more than anyone else. Like, Soviets have so many different builds, and they also have such a broad range of commanders with many transformational styles and units and abilities, as well as just sort of more straightforward commanders that just provide a few things that buff the sort of general Soviet plan. So, oh, Clown Car here. Is he going to micro it out there? No. German units in the church there, the Volksgrenadiers, will put an end to that Clown Car. They're going to get roasted and toasted a bit on the way out, but they should be able to... Hang on now, a rifle round? No, he's alright, he's alright. He's going to escape. That was a bit close there. Yeah, he's going to get that one out of there. So the Clown Car not lasting too long. That was about nearly 2 minutes worth of drive-by roastings. But it's hard to put a number on the amount of value that provides. I mean, every squad that you force back is like pretty important in these early stages. That represents a lot of value from your opponent's army that is just not fighting. Looks like Scavenge Doctrine is going to get picked. Oosh, what was that? Oh, that was a shoe mine, I believe, going off there, claiming a couple of penal troopers. But yep, Scavenge Doctrine is going to be picked. Jägerler Infantry moving on out here. Yeah, indeed, Datton, good observation. The early Clown Car did force a Rakettenwerfer perhaps a little bit earlier, or definitely a little bit earlier than the OKW player would otherwise have liked. And let's pay close attention now to exactly how Orange Pest elects to evolve the composition and sculpt the tech from here on out. Because we've got triple penal, we've got double engineer, we've got flamethrower on one of those engineers. That's a fine core to have. but it will rapidly lose momentum in the face of any kind of sophistication from this OKW player. If there's an MG, well, then this Soviet army is going to suffer. Even a light gun is probably going to be woes. And of course, a flak half-track would be kind of pretty terrible. I mean, I know you can put PTRSs on the guards, but like that flak half-track will still do well. So as long as the German player doesn't fall asleep, I guess. Satchel charge there, going to be used to flatten a structure. No actual Germans caught in the blast, but does get a double fallback on the back of that play, so definitely finding value there with the satchel charge. Are they still 45 muni? Yeah, 45 muni there for the heavy grenade. And okay, wow, going straight into Tank of Battalion Command. Alrighty then, so this likely to be a T-70 build. The resources are going to line up here in just a few seconds, and actually maybe almost exactly when this building finishes. I mean, okay, it'll be a few more seconds till we have the 70 fuel, but you can kind of see the resources are lining up for that T-70 here. So Orange Pest probably going to be relying on the light tank, and that actually insulates him against the flak half-track like considerably, so I do like that. It also adds a little bit more momentum to what has already been quite a momentum-based Soviet play. So, yep, T-70 it will be. Alright, cool. Okay, yeah, I like it from Orange Pest. I do like it from Orange Pest. Standard, like, Magpie disclaimer asterisk. I still think that he should build a support weapon Campanile. Maybe not immediately. I don't think he needs it this minute, but I think it just makes me nervous when Soviet players elect to continue forward in the game with no support weapon Campanile. I suppose there are alternatives though. For example, we could just pick Defensive Tactics Community Geezer, who kind of gives you a sort of a toolkit similar to the support weapon Campanile, but I don't like wasting your whole commander pick just to get access to support weapon Campanile stuff when the support weapon Campanile is actually not expensive. And also, as good as the M42 AT gun is, and as good as the 120mm mortar tube is, I actually prefer the Zis gun, and I actually prefer the PM81. So, yeah. Oh, shoe mines here. Gonna claim some Soviet engineers. Let's crack the tack and we can get a feel for how this battlefield is shaping up. Looks like a T-70 is going to be overrunning in the south of the map here. Trying to get a kill on some Volksgrenadiers. Won't be able to catch them though.
Enemy forces are neutralizing a sector.
And this Rakettenwerfer that would have been was hoping to be useful against the Clown Cart will of course be useful against the T-70, but on a map this broad in the middle, with the maneuverability of the T-70, should be unlikely to get a kill. Do the penals get AT grenades? They get the anti-vehicle satchel grenade once they upgrade with PTRSs, so 60 munitions gets you the 2 PTRSs, and then you can throw anti-vehicle satchel grenades, which like are pretty good to be honest. They are pretty beefy against tanks, but they do cost 45 munitions and they do have quite a long throw animation, so they are really good though. If you can, like, they'll deal with like a flak half track or something like that. So yeah, they don't get anti-vehicle grenades as such, but they do have an anti-vehicle munitions option. Now the satchel charge comes down here. Uh-oh, that's kind of on your fallback path, mate. Okay, he's fine. There we go. Going to wait for that one to go off before falling back. Kind of a weird satchel grid charge there. That was kind of a little bit of a... Feels like he's kind of grasping at straws a little bit there. I'm not sure as this one was ever going to fall for a sort of 3-second plus satchel charge fuse thrown down here when there wasn't that much going on elsewhere on the map. Like, normally you have to have just some other kind of distraction or something going on. But anyway, it will be defensive doctrine pick, so there we go. That is probably going to negate the need for support weapon Campanile anytime soon. And immediately we've got the 50 caliber Dushka machine gun. Going to be coming out onto the field here, and that is a smart choice. The German forces, of course, already rocking a machine gun of their own, and that making life kind of difficult for these penals. Defensive doctrine. Yeah, it does do those things, Aki HQ, you're absolutely right. And the anti-tank Overwatch is like super good later on. How much is a penal squad anyway? Let's have a check. 300 manpower. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I love the fact that Soviets can go for a special rifle command opening. I think it's really cool, but I don't think it's the strongest way to open with Soviets, and I think that's why we don't see it very often. It lets you do some pokey things, but it doesn't give you the range or versatility that you need to carry a game past the 10-minute mark, so it can end up being quite expensive. That's my feelings. Anyway, Penal Battalion here, going to escape under the arc of that MG34. That was pretty damn close. The T-70 likewise going to sneak away. Was this going to be a satchel? He tried. It got cancelled though. Yeah, not going to get the satchel. Oh, and he tries to get into the building, but Volk's going to deny. Satchel comes onto those Volks though, so that flattening this structure, there we go. Flattening that structure is actually really nice, because we see this structure often into the late game just be such a boon for the west spawning player on this map, because it's the perfect position for a machine gun to overwatch this whole central area, including of course the victory point. So I just like demolishing that structure earlier on. Don't let the west spawning player get any extra value out of this structure. That is fine by me. That's 45 munitions well spent, even though we hit no Germans. But we still forced some Volks out of there, actually, so there was some extra value on top. T-70 here going to get repaired. How much munitions are infiltration grenades? 15, if memory serves. 20. Actually 20. Perhaps that's been changed since my day. But yeah, still like quite a munitions efficient grenades package, for sure. To be honest, Scavenge Doctrine has one of the most interesting relationships with the munitions resource of any commander, because you get extra access to it. Thorough Salvage is like pretty useful, and then of course later on you get the munitions dependent 105mm howitzer barrage, and if you've ever had 500 plus munitions and used this ability, it's a lot of fun. So yeah, just nice to see a German commander that doesn't super rely on munitions, and even has a little way of actually generating some extra munitions there. Alright, up to double Dushka now. Whoa, as I say that, one of the Dushkas goes down. Oh no, where was that? Where did he lose that Dushka? Oh, I totally missed that. Sorry about that. One of the Dushkas, though, does go down. Yeah, double Dushka, nice. Never mind. Exactly what I was thinking, Datton. My exact thought process was, yeah, double Dushka. Oh no, the Dushka gets nicked. Okay, well, the Dushka was... Oh, God, and now Penal's feeding in Orange Pester. Careful, bro. Careful, bro. You've played a nice game so far. Let's not spill it all over the place here. All right. Oh man, hemorrhaging a Dushka into the Axis roster is pain. That is pain. That is what, 300 manpower. Yeah. Yikes. I mean, maybe this was part of the plan though. If we hemorrhage enough machine guns, then the Axis composition will be very easy to counter with mortars, right? Dun dun dun. Big brain plays. I don't know if the British salvage engineers salvage more than OKW. That's a good question, Aki HQ. Yeah, I kind of agree. The 120mm mortar is sort of trash. Like, it's 340 manpower, and I reckon it's worse than the 240 manpower mortar, just because it seemingly never hits. It just, or it's the average amount of damage it deals over time is less, and that is not a winning solution for a mortar that costs more. So like, I actually think the 120mm mortar is actually one of the few units that still needs a bit of attention in this game, because at the moment it's just kind of terribly bad, and like, yeah, I mean it has too low. The factors which play into the DPS that a mortar squad does are rate of fire and accuracy, right? And like, it's up to you. If you think the rate of fire is too low, then sure, whatever. But I mean, you could keep the rate of fire the same and make it more accurate, or you could leave the accuracy alone and increase the rate of fire, or you can tweak them both. But those are the two factors, and right now they're just not quite in the right place for the 120 more mortar tube. They're just not for something that costs 340 manpower. Like, as it is right now, I would probably be okay paying like 270 manpower for it. That seems like an acceptable price for it as it stands right now. But even then, I would probably rather just take the more dependable, cheaper mortar. These Volks are going to sneak away. Christ, that's pretty close. Panzer IV already on the queue. Of course, the Schwerpanzer HQ was thrown down up in the north over here. So that will be defending the fuel point. T-70 going to be trying to do some work in south here. And this Panzer IV is going to be bad times, man. I mean, Mechanized Regiment Campanile is done. And now the T-34 comes on the queue. But this Soviet army is outclassed badly. Pardon me. The Panzer IV beats the light tank and the medium tank. 3 squads of Penals and 1 machine gun do not beat 3 squads of Volks, Jaeger Lights, Storm Pioneers, and 2 machine guns. So Orange Pest is going to have a pretty hard time over the next 5 minutes at least, whilst they try to grow the composition and evolve their army to sort of meet this Axis threat. So this is going to be a pretty rough game for the next few minutes for the Soviet player. But Soviets do have a strong late game. Actually, you know what? We don't even have the munitions for the anti-tank Overwatch as well. So this is going to be really tough. And we can only call in M42 AT guns. Okay, that is a stroke of luck. This Panzer IV immediately hits the mines. So it's just going to have to repair. Storm Pioneers are kind of here. But any time that we can buy where this Panzer IV is not just like rinsing the Soviet player, that is really good for Orange Pest. So a stroke of luck there. The Panzer IV immediately hits some mines. That is not the greatest start in life, of course, for a Panzer IV. MG34 squad here in jeopardy, as this T-70 looks to pursue. Keep an eye on the unit roster at the top to see if that one gets wiped. Meanwhile, there's a bit of fighting going on in mid and south, which I'm going to frame instead. Looks like the MG gets away, uses the Schwerpanzer HQ to hide there. A little bit of a medium tank battle here. Looks like the T-34 might have gotten 1 penetrating hit on the Panzer IV in exchange for, I think, 2 or 1 and a Faust on the way back by the look of it. Yeah, Aki HQ. I feel like not only do they compare badly to the mortar pit, which like the mortar pit has a whole load of other disadvantages associated with it. For example, it can't move. Like, so it's okay for the mortar pit to do more damage, but like the fact, I think on average the 120 more mortar squad does less DPS or less damage per minute if you want to think about it, or like average damage over the course of the game than even the regular Soviet mortar for 240 manpower. Like, I'm pretty damn sure it does. Like, it just seems so bad. So, yeah. Ostwind? Huh. We're gonna go for an Ostwind here for this one. Yeah, okay, alright, well, that 120 is the number of millimeters that Orange Pasta will be calling in here, so we do get to see the much maligned or perhaps maligned mortar that we've all been sort of discussing. So okay, all right, ladies and gentlemen, let's keep an eye on this mortar, and we get to have a look. We get to have a look at how it performs in the wild here. I mean, it does put down smoke. You know, it does still have basic mortar functionality, and so it may well be useful for providing an opening against these machine guns, or even perhaps the Rakettenwerfer. But now the Ostwind is out as well, so, I mean, Zisman is playing with a lot of power here, and Orange Pest is going to have to hold back the tide, and this is going to be difficult, really difficult. Now, to Orange Pest's credit, he is grabbing the Southern VP, and that is going to be very useful. The T-70, no match, of course, for a Panzer IV, which is going to start creeping in here. And we can't build Zis guns, remember. We cannot build Zis guns, so there is actually a bit of a problem here for anti-armor. T-34 scoring a nice penetrating hit, though, will get itself a Star of Veterancy. Does it get extra penetration or something? Improving targeting and rate of fire. So it actually never gets penetration. It only just gets accuracy and rate of fire on the T-34. Interesting, okay. Because, I mean, yeah, just the Panzer IV Alpha J, the OKW version. Oh, God. Well, we didn't really get to see the mortar do much. Oh, of course, yeah. One of the... Okay, I always forget that. It gets destroyed! Oh no! It's so bad! I can't believe that. I forgot, of course, the 120 mil. Is it actually easier to kill? Because that just instantly died. He didn't put that down. Like it just instantly exploded. Huh. Well, that's unfortunate. SU-85 on the queue though. That's pretty cool. This is actually a game that an SU-85 could totally turn around if it's well managed and supported. Oh, the Panzer IV hit it twice? Okay, fair enough. What is this coming in? Oh, this is anti-tank Overwatch. No, this doesn't seem like the time to use it. No, Orange Pest, why? Why? The reason this is especially frustrating, right? Why do Soviet players keep doing this? Right, anti-tank Overwatch is a very expensive ability, right? 200 munitions is a lot. You will be lucky to be able to use this twice a game. You know, you'll probably be... Sometimes you won't even get to use it once. And it is tremendously powerful. It has a lot of potential for destroying Axis players' best units, right? But you need to have some way of keeping that Axis unit in line of sight. And this is particularly frustrating that Orange Pest threw it down there, because the Panzer IV and the Ostwind can just skedaddle for free, no damage done. And he was about to get the Su-85 out. Now, of course, the Su-85 has focus sight. And focus sight is a really good way of keeping line of sight on that Panzer IV whilst it desperately tries to get out of there. So it's a little bit frustrating that the anti-tank Overwatch that could have been such a boon for the Soviet forces is unable to get any value at all there, really. So snare is another really helpful thing. Yeah, you're right, Dan. Yeah. So like ram or snare, like, but you sometimes need more than that. All right, Su-85 here, getting up into an interesting position. It's going to open up on this Panzer IV. Immediately, Ziswin is like, nope. Don't want any of that, and he's going to get out of there. This Su-85 is in an interesting position. You normally want the Su-85 behind the T-34, though I grant you the T-34's engine is presently busted. Okay, he's gonna lunge forward with the Su-85 here to try and find that Panzer IV. But you can already feel, look how different the game feels as soon as an Su-85 comes out. The German player just actually has to think very carefully about how and when to commit with their tanks. They can't just roll around getting value, keeping the pressure on, like doing loads of momentum-based play. No, like they have to think. Like they have to commit, basically. Yeah, they have to commit whenever they put their tank in range of that Su-85, and that's a completely different game. Then you're playing just a different game. I know I like to go on about Su-85s and how amazing they are, but they are actually really amazing. Can I interest you in a brief conversation about our Lord and Savior, Su-85? What are we doing? This is the bravest Su-85. He's using focus sight mode with Volks Grenadiers, like, just right next to him. That is brave. Okay, here comes the T-34. So the support is actually here. 2 stars of veterancy completes on that T-34. Very nice. He spots the Panzer IV moving around there. Focus sight is useful. There we go, starting to vet up this Su-85, and as I always say, they do vet up quickly. They do vet up quickly. Finds another shot going through there. That was a good shot. Not going to get any damage for it, but well played for there by Orange Pest. Putting that Axis player on notice. I feel if we could get Guards infantry right now, I feel like this would actually be a super good situation for Orange Pest. Now, I know that that's not an option. He's going to call in another Dushka here. A double Dush does go well with this army. I almost feel like we need to sort of pivot into conscripts, though, actually. I think conscripts would actually go really well with this composition now. Yeah, conscripts with AT grenades. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mention the AT grenades, but yeah, AT grenades is a large part of why I think conscripts right now would be really useful. Because you have an Su-85, and the AT grenade with Su-85, there's a lot of synergy there. On top of that, of course, conscripts are just cheaper than penals, and like it's nice to have some cheap infantry. Like penals are actually a little bit pricey, like not super pricey, but like you can't just be kind of chaffing them away like you can with conscripts. Okay, so Panzer IV here going to come forward. The scoreline is going to start becoming an issue for Orange Pest. Of course, Orange Pest has been disadvantaged for large amounts of this game, and so hasn't really had the best victory point control. The 3-star T70, actually, wow, I've just noticed it's on 3-star. I know it has been for ages, but that's actually going to be super useful with the Su-85 as well. 1-star veterancy is done. Oh, he's going to get Fausted! We can't be doing this! Oh god, that was just that was an unforced error. Getting Fausted there was not necessary. Panther tank. That's going to be quite scary here. Oof. Ooh, an OKW player with a Panzer IV, an Ostwind, and a Panther tank. That's like pretty rough. Somehow Soviet forces will get to decap mid though. Another T-34? Okay. If there's a world where we can somehow get all of the Axis armor under like an anti-tank overwatch off the back of a double ram or something, it's going to be pretty scary.
Enemy forces are attempting to capture our territory.
Oh, wow. Oh, let's go 17 viewers. Nice stuff. That's pretty exciting for me because, like, just casting at a random time on a Friday when I didn't say I'd be casting is awesome. Thank you very much, everybody who's tuned in. It means a lot to me. Thanks for helping me stay sane in lockdown. Let's see now. So, okay, Panzer IV here gets a rout on a huge amount of Allied infantry. Volksgrenadiers as well going to stalk forwards to lunge onto this this cutoff. And also interfere with the repairs on the all-important Su-85. Now, the T-70 at 3 stars is an absolute animal against infantry. Even 5-star Volks cannot withstand the withering fire of a T-70 at 3-star vet for long. So they have to give way. Now, here comes the Panther. Oh, immediately gets tagged by a mine. Oh my god. Son. And now the Su-85 is going to try and lurch forwards, man. You're never going to catch him. You're never going to catch him. Don't worry about it. Finish the repairs. Come after him later. But, oh my god. A little mouse glitch here. Thanks, Company of Heroes 2. That is a really nice way for that Panther to have hit the mines there for Orange Pest. Kind of like the Panzer IV did. It just gives him a moment here to acknowledge that there is a Panther out and just get it into his mind, make the adaptations. And, oh wow, this Su-85 is poking out a little bit far. Axis forces is going to get the triple cap.
We are losing supplies to the enemy.
This is going to be a very difficult late game scenario. Not impossible, but very difficult for the Soviet player. If we can somehow get a Katusha onto the roster, it actually becomes a really playable position. But, you know what, actually, we're not a million miles away in terms of resources either. If we can add a Katusha into this army, it actually becomes really playable for the Soviet player. But, I mean, I'm just not convinced that we're going to actually survive long enough. That's the problem. Because we're under a triple cap, and it's so hard to access the victory points when the Axis player has this good of an army. You know, so mobile with the 3 heavy-hitting tanks. Great weapon teams with the double machine gun to control any Allied infantry that try and get onto these victory points. And 152 tickets when you're under a triple cap is nearly no time at all here. Su-85 hurling shells through here, using a bit of attack round to try and find the Panzer IV. And I believe the Panther will be circling... Oh no, that's the Ostwind. Alright, the Panther is actually only just now repaired, going to come down the central lane here. The Ostwind sharking around in north, looking to catch out any unsupported Soviet flankers. And, whoa, the Panzer IV here in a pretty dire situation. Focus sight is down. It's going to sneak away for now, but yeah, the Su-85 doing Su-85 things. Now the Panther... Oh, you pack it up! Pack it up! So we need to defocus sight is what I mean by pack it up. And then we need to reverse like hell. That was a late reverse here. Somehow not getting too badly punished for it is Orange Pest. That definitely could have been an Su-85 in a bad way. And now he's actually working down the Panther, whilst the T-34s are going to keep this Ostwind away. Okay, the Panther's going to come in? Are you sure you want to come in? Up, lag spike, and then... coming in with the Panther there was risky. He's going to take 2 more hits for it, penetrating hits. This Su-85 is very nearly at 3 stars of veterancy, which is when the rate of fire just kicks in and it starts just like ripping down Axis tanks. So Orange Pest here, That Su-85 is developing. If we can just capture a victory point. Oh no, infantry in the north will be repulsed. And this is what I mean about the utility and the value of this double MG. It just enables you to say no when your opponent says, hey, can I play this game a bit longer? You can just say no. You can just say to your opponent, you lose. That is what MGs on victory points say to your opponent. So he actually gets a Dushka onto South VP. So he's going to go from triple cap down to a 1 ticket bleed rate when he has 64 left and needs to... He's going to go for another T-34. Really, bro? I think a Katusha... Well, perhaps... I mean, when you're on 60 tickets, actually, there is a strong argument that Katusha is a bad idea. Because you need a unit that can try and change the game on a more quick timescale, and a Katusha really cannot change the game over a very quick timescale because, well, you only get to shoot it every 100 seconds. So, yeah, the T-70 will finally go down here, and that was an important part of this Soviet army. Not the most important part, but a very important part nonetheless. Axis forces here with a ludicrous concave will be hooning into these penal battalion. They will have to give way. The Dushka in a lovely position here, though, to get the punish and hopefully prevent the Axis forces from capping mid. Off the clock right now, of course, is Orange Pest. But if these Volksgrenadiers are able to capture mid, that will change things considerably. The Panzer IV going to try and sneak around the back of the church here. But the Su-85 is already rotated, desperately in need of repairs. T-34's here. That is a lot of T-34. Could go for a ram. Goes for the ram. And the ram will not connect. Leaving the T-34s in the front of the Rakettenwerfers as the Panzer IV sneaks away. Quite the reversal here. Zisman picks up a Soviet medium. Very nicely done. What are we doing? We're still coming in? Anti-tank Overwatch? No, it's not ready. Oh no. I mean, that was a game-throwing move then. Orange Pest, unfortunately here, feeds 2 of his T-34s away. And that is quite possibly a game-ending move. Now, the Su-85 is considerably repaired. Pushes forwards here. Does he have focus sight? He doesn't need it. Wow, he has vision provided by the infantry, of course. And he's going to get the Panther. And now the Su-85, angry as hell, is going to be patrolling into this. Oh my god, he has the Panzer IV! What? Nice. Okay, but it's all about the victory points at the end of the day. He gives up the last of the T-34s. The Kettenwerfers firing fury into these allied units. Can I check how much the anti-personnel mines cost? Yes, I can. Which anti-personnel mines do you mean, though? The shoe mines? Hey, have you heard that Su-85s are pretty okay? Look, I don't want to say it, but I've been saying it. The Soviet NG mines, I believe they are 40 munitions. Oh, sorry, the doctrinal mines. Oops. Yeah, they are 7? That can't be right. Well, they're 7, according to this. 7? That seems very low. Really? They cost 7? Crazy. Yeah, but S-mines cost more than 7. Oh, it's like an individual S-mine? Alright, fair enough. Whoa! Whoa, Su-85! Orange Pest, what are we doing? Oh, Su-85 probing into Fog of War is risk, but he's going to get the turn. Look how maneuverable it is. Oosh! And it looks like it's going to be a KT plan. Am I guessing? No, wait, he doesn't actually have the full tech tree. So this one, why are we saving this much fuel? Also, a KT against a 3-star Su-85 is rubbish. Like, it's just really not very good. In fact, I would say it's actually bad. So the plan has to be to try and break the Soviet... Yeah, the Panther is much better. The plan has to be to try and break the Soviet player sooner here. Are those shoe mines? No, those are Soviet mines. Alright. Oh, come on now, Kettenwerfers. 5-star Kettenwerfers. Yikes. And... you have to feel like, although this has been a heroic stand by Orange Pest and a brilliant display of what an Su-85 can actually get done, you have to feel as though this is going to be exactly that, a heroic last stand before the inevitable crushing Axis victory, because even if the vehicle battle is going the way of the Soviet player, and it kind of has been a little bit, how do you get onto the victory points when... Hang on, he's actually off from under the clock, though. Interesting. Every second that this battle goes on, Orange Pest is surprising me. Let's put it that way. Alright. So, okay, the Panther is here. And that is, of course, a very potent threat against an Su-85. Of course, if you ever get that Panther to be able to engage the Su-85 where the Su-85's gun isn't tracking the Panther, so as soon as you get the Panther around the sides or rear, that Su-85 should be dead. And it is not so hard to do. Panthers are quite fast, they're even quite durable. Ooh, a lovely light snack here. A big cat will eat up the rear armor of a T-34. Oh dear, Orange Pest here getting punished for leaving that one out. But is it a bait? Has he set this one up to lure in the Panther? Oh, where's the... We want to keep that facing this way. What? Why does it keep turning? Oh god, some problem with the micro there. He could have gotten another shot easily in that time wasted there. Okay, we can't just be letting the Panther hang out in front of a 3-star Su-85 though. No sir. We'll lose the T-34. The Ostwind coming in from the rear. Are we... What the... What the micro on this T-34? On the Su-85. What are we doing? We gotta get out of there, man. Rakettenwerfers. Jesus. Orange Pest, you are fearless, man. I can't micro an Su-85 like that because it's a really bad idea. A Katusha? Hang on, wait. So now that we've lost all of our T-34s, now we stop building them and go for the Katusha when we're on 43 tickets? And okay, I don't agree with this particular Katusha, I'm afraid. Even though I know I was talking about it earlier, I just feel it's too late in the day for a Katusha. Like, what you need is something that can help you get the victory points, and a Katusha is... it operates over too long of a timescale to actually really help you do that. He needs to rush to that 10th T-34. You know it, Datton. That is how you win, at least if you're Nagano. The Ostwind now at 2 stars gets the rate of fire upgrade. This this Su-85 is going to get Fausted. Christ, he's microing this Su-85 so bizarrely. You see, if you don't have the Su-85 in this triangle here, it doesn't have to keep scurrying around, changing its facing and exposing weak armor. If you just keep it here and traverse it either along this axis or along this axis only, then you don't have to keep doing all this bizarre micro. Like, alright, Katusha going to reveal itself, but this is the thing, you see, because I think the Katusha is going to get one barrage and then the game is going to end. Anti-tank Overwatch, though. Oh no! The Panther gets up on top of the Su-85 and that will be game. That will be game. Well won here by Ziswan. A good game. Goes in fact for the... Yep, of course, just want to knock out that Katusha. Lovely. And then we'll take this one here. Orange Pest there, putting up a pretty good showing with a weird Soviet style, wasn't it? That was quite strange, wasn't it? Going for the Rifle Command opening, Clown Car, great T-70. Never going for Support Weapon Campanile, relying instead on the Defensive Doctrine Commander. And then getting an Su-85 with really good timing, actually. That Su-85, look how long that game went on because of the Su-85. Like, there was... The first half of that game kind of looked quite bad, and things were looking really bad. And as soon as the Su-85 hits the field, it just changes the balance of power, and it changes what the game is about. And it changes how the Axis player has to use their most powerful units, and that's a powerful effect. And yeah, microed reasonably well there, but still questionably in my opinion. Plenty of room for improvement there. Oh, we're casting this one. Still plenty of room for improvement there. How long have I been casting for now? Geez, 1 hour, 12 minutes. I mean, normally I'd have a break to like rest my voice and everything, but I'm feeling it right now, so I'm just going to keep casting. Okay, boys. We've got a good one here. At least I think so. What is up? Thank you very much, all 21 of you out there. That is pretty exciting viewership figures for me. Very glad that you could join me for today's random streaming and live game casting. Does mean a lot. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready for our next game here. Spawning in the north, playing as the OKW Feasters, it is Caesar. And spawning in the south, playing once again as the Soviet forces, it's Orange Pest. So a couple of players who we've already cast today, we have some idea of what form they're in and what strategies they might be leaning on. And Caesar, it's going to be Overwatch Doctrine right off the bat again. So indeed, and I imagine it might be a Kugelwagen build if everything's going to be the same. Although Crossing in the Woods, you might want to mix it up a little bit. Yeah, going to go double Volks. Crossing in the Woods just has a certain, because of the nature of the middle of the map and because of the nature of the fact that that's where you do a lot of the fighting, you want usually a more infantry-based machine gun style in the early game. I think early double MG on Crossing in the Woods is like more potent than early double MG on most maps. So Caesar here, not going to be mixing in the Kugelwagen, at least not right now. And going for the double Volks, as we are more used to seeing out of OKW players. Some interesting discussion in chat about which doctrine might... about which doctrine might favour the T-34 spam the most. I mean, Advanced Warfare Tactics is actually quite a good one. Actually, we have it on the screen here. I actually think this is quite good for T-34 spam because you get the conscript repair kit, and that's actually like really good. Does let you turn around those T-34s pretty quick. Dank hunters. Dank hunters. I see what you did there. So it's going to be the same build again here from Orange Pass. So we've got the Special Rifle Command. Clown Car is here. We'll have a flamethrower coming out here momentarily, and it's going to be a penal-based opening. All is fair. In love and clown colours. I do agree, Strelok. My inclination is to prefer Soviet Airborne as well. Even though it costs a lot of munitions going down that route. And even though, if you ever lose conscript squads when you've gone down that route, it does feel a bit bad, but, you know. I do agree with you. Airborne Doctrine, if you're going to be spamming T-34s, it's pretty nice. And you kind of actually get cheaper Dushkas that way as well. Manpower is a very important resource, and I know the Airborne Dushkas cost like 50 munitions, but 125 manpower to call in a Dushka, I suppose you have to reinforce it up, so the actual cost is going to be like a little bit more, but it's still a very manpower efficient way of getting Dushkas into your army. I think you actually can't go 7-man squads if you have the SVDs though, Aki HQ. Sorry, unless you're talking about something else. I believe once you pick up the SVDs, you can't do the 7-man squad. I'm pretty sure about that. The munition cost in the very early game when you're thinking about bringing in those SVD crates, it does actually compete with putting mines in good places out on the map. So. Although Soviets aren't as munition intensive as like Wehrmacht or something, like those munitions are still really useful, especially in those super early stages where you really do want to be putting SVDs on. So it's not free. It's not like we just don't need those munitions. Like having less mines, especially on your opponent's half of the map, is really big. That's quite a good split, actually, Aki HQ. Yeah. 2 7-man squad, 2 SVDs is nice.
Secure the vehicle. Location set. Begin conversion.
Is it actually an SVT rifle, by the way? Am I saying this wrong all this time? I thought it was an SVD. Am I wrong about that?
Command abilities ready. Command level capabilities ready for deployment. Contact! Infantry assaulted!
All right. Looks like we're going to have our first proper engagement here. Oh, the SVD is a different gun. Ah, right. Are they both semi-automatic Soviet rifles? If so, you can see how I could get confused. The SVT is a World War II semi-automatic rifle. Oh, yeah, the SVD Dragunov. I know that that's a modern sniper rifle for sure, yeah. Yeah, the Dragunov. For quite a while, one of my favourite weapons in Call of Duty, that. Sarava, good to see you as well. Alright, so it is nice to see these two players using the builds that we saw them use already, so they're clearly feeling these builds. Orange Pest getting off to a much better start this time round though. This clown car has been much more effective. The penals as well have actually been able to take more coordinated fights. You're not going to have much luck hiding in a building, friend. Not against the clown car. Up, you can try. It's not going to be nice though. Oh god, no. Oh god, that's a lot of SVTs. That'll be first blood here in this game, as those Volks horribly cornered and barbecued up there, and things looking a little bit rough here. For our Axis player, Caesar. To be honest, actually, I don't think I've ever seen Caesar get off to a bad start. Like, Caesar is such a stalwart with such good, like, core fundamental Company of Heroes 2 skills. I don't think I've ever seen Caesar lose a squad at, like, the sub 7-minute mark or sub 8-minute mark, or, like, pretty much ever. So yeah, Orange Pest actually doing well to find some telling damage against Caesar in these early stages there. Kettenwerfer is actually just going to get in the building to take out this clown car. Fair enough, that is one way of doing it. Can he get it outside the arc? He's never going to get that outside the arc. I think he's done it, actually. This is so annoying. Look at this clown car. Okay, finally gets it. Finally gets it. And the T-70's on the queue. So, yeah, the same follow-up here. Caesar as well going once again for 2 squads of Jaeger Light Infantry, 1 with G43. So this is pretty much the same stuff as we saw before. And also finally being able to connect up a fuel point and get some work done out on the map here. So both players here ought to have a pretty good opportunity to win this one now that the game is sort of kind of more or less stabilized. About 100 tickets worth of lead there for Orange Pest off of the base off of those early game engagements, and some fuel advantage as well. Oh, these engineers messing with the fallback path on this Jaeger Light. He's got so much health though, no chance of a wipe, but that is still pretty annoying stuff there, as the penal battalion's continuing to crack away into him. Hemadoranki, what is going on? Good to see you, friend. Yes, we are casting Caesar. This is in fact the second game from Caesar that we've cast today. And indeed the second game from Orange Pest. So, yeah, kind of getting a little bit of a sort of coherent narrative through today's games. Nope, a little bit of lag there. These satchel charges from Orange Pest I'm not a fan of, though. We do keep seeing these kind of, I don't want to call them desperate, but let's call them obvious. They are obvious satchel charges. You need for there to be quite a lot of chaos going on, or some sort of other setup, really, before a random satchel charge, or indeed just a satchel charge, is going to really find any damage, especially against infantry squads. So I feel like these satchel charges, I guess he's not exactly struggling for munitions, but still not the most, not the best spending on them. Okay, in a mix-up, we do actually have the Urban Defense Commander being picked for Orange Pest. So this does represent a little bit of a different style. Still gets access to the M42 AT gun, which I'm kind of hoping that Orange Pest isn't intending to skip, pardon me, support weapon Campanile for that much longer. I know I've said it before, even on the stream today, and I've definitely said it many times before, but I actually, for Soviet forces especially, I really don't like it when they try to play, like, certainly beyond the 12-minute mark without the support weapon Campanile. Even if you've got a commander who can call in 120mm tubes or Dushkas or M42s, the support weapon Campanile, look, Zis guns are better than M42s. M42s will hold you through, but once your opponent has more than one medium tank, the M42 just will not do. It just won't do, and certainly if they've got anything more advanced than medium armor, the M42 is just going to have a bad time. Faust here going to find the T-70. I don't believe there's a Kettenwerfer Oh, there is one Kettenwerfer in the hood, but the T-70 should be able to limp away here. This particular commander obviously doesn't have access to the Dushka. So if you don't build support weapon Campanier, are you really going to play a whole game on Crossing in the Woods without machine guns? Unless you can grab one off your opponent, I suppose, but I don't know. Crossing in the Woods is a really good map for machine guns because it's a Company of Heroes 2 map. So, I don't know. And also, I mean, you don't get access to the mortar here either. And actually, Crossing in the Woods is actually quite a good map for mortars. You can just position them like here or here, and they'll be firing pretty much the whole game, gaining veterancy. And if you want to get a bit pokier with them, you absolutely can do more. So, I just hope that Orange Pest just hasn't kind of mentally written off the support weapon Campanier in this game. That's what I'm saying. Oh. Oh! How did that grenade not set off the mines that they were defusing? Because they were defusing it, I guess. No, the Storm Pioneers! Caesar! That is an unforgivable error. Wow. Okay, that is actually 2 squads now that Caesar has hemorrhaged. And the Storm Pioneers with a metal detector, an expensive loss. Certainly the Storm Pioneers an unforced error, I feel like. So, okay, Caesar, he is only mortal, it turns out. Caesar may, in fact, unconfirmed reports, but could be human. Could be human. No! Was that a wipe? Did he just take out another Volk squad? I'm pretty sure he did, right? That was a wipe. Jeez. Orange Pest. Merciless here. There is blood in the water, and Orange Pest is circling. This is starting to slide out of hand here for Caesar. I mean, it's definitely not over, but large amounts of damage have been dealt. It looks like Shoe Mine's going to take their toll on some engineers there, but large amounts of damage are being dealt here. And the scoreline, a triple cap again established by Orange Pest. And that is quite a large scoreline disparity now, leading by like 200 tickets at like the 12-13 minute mark in a game. It's pretty scary out here right now for an OKW player, I'm not going to lie. And if Orange Pest is going to play this one, yeah. So we already have Mechanized Armor Campanier. And we'll see what the intention is with that building here in a second. But I feel like there's almost no bad choices. Probably the Su-85 actually right now is a bad choice. But yeah, unlikely to build an Su-85 into an opponent who doesn't even have Schwerpanzer HQ yet. So yeah, T-34s would be fine. The Katusha would be fine. Or you could just keep saving, because KV-2 later on, probably going to be fine. A second squad of shock troops. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I'm not the biggest fan of shock troops, I must admit, but I worry now that if Caesar buys another MG34, then actually it's going to be quite hard for Orange Pest to like get much work done, but we'll see. God, I wish this commander actually had guards instead of shocks. I think that'd be really cool. Indeed, actually, Dan, that's a real good point. A real good point. The Axis player is actually down to just 1 Fausting unit, which actually does amplify the potential value of a T-34.
Supply sector under attack.
Yeah, I know shocks have got smoke. They're fine units. They are absolutely fine. I just, I don't think I've ever seen shocks do a thing where I'm just like, that was awesome. Like those shocks rocked it. They like totally changed the game. They're just like reasonable assault orientated infantry. And for 360 manpower, I just want more. I guess that was what I'm saying. PPSH is thundering here, though, and look at these penals messing with the fallback. Wow, Dota players rejoice. This is some severe, like, creep blocking. And these Jaeger Lights, you cannot stand there, boys. This represents too much PPSH for you. And they will have to fall back. Smoke does come down to screen off this this MG34 here. And the shock troops ought to be able to get out from under this arc. Oh, just need to get a little further back here, boys. Well done. And Yeah, Orange Pest navigating this game very confidently.
The enemy is taking what we have secured.
Continuing to find value here. Okay, yeah, some interesting points in chat in support of shocks here. Perhaps I am underselling them, and I'm perfectly prepared to accept that. That is a very real possibility here.
Capturing our supplies.
And that's a T-34 on the queue, of course. So Orange Pest electing to go the route of medium armor here. And only one Faust, as was pointed out earlier. And that's got to bode well here for the Soviet player, who once again secures the triple cap.
Establish our supply lines.
Looks like Caesar is actually going to keep that as brief as possible, but still, nice to find the damage. Nice to find that value for Orange Pest. And, you know, we're in a situation now where if this game does go long, the Axis player may very well be obliged to take some pretty bad-looking fights to stay in the game, and that will always feel good for Orange Pest. Smoke, once again, being useful here. How much are these smoke grenades? They are 10 munitions. Okay, I thought that they were like double that. I'll be honest, I thought they were like 20 or something. Okay, yeah, alright, alright. To have a 10 munition smoke grenade on shocks, alright, I'm starting to see they're pretty... They could be good. They could be good.
The enemy has destroyed.
I actually didn't realise the smoke grenades only cost 10, everyone, sorry. In my head they were like 20 or 25. Okay, fine. Alright. Yeah, that smoke's like totally usable. Super usable. That's cool. The smoke gets reduced with vet. So it does. Who run Bartertown with the sick game knowledge? Thank you very much. Huh. Reduces the cooldown as well. Interesting. Does it reduce the cost of the regular grenade? No. Okay. Interesting stuff. I live and learn. And again, it appears that Orange Pest here going to be securing that triple cap.
The enemy has taken our supply.
And I think, to be honest, if I'm Orange Pest, the way this game has lined up, we've scored so much damage based on the victory points that I think that that should be the objective now moving forwards. Just continue to make the situation more and more desperate for Caesar in terms of that scoreline. Just keep on piling on scoreline pressure. Obligate the Axis player to be worrying about the objectives. You know, I think that's got to be the way here. What happened to the T-34, by the way? I missed that. What happened to the T-34? God, I'm bad at casting. Did he cancel it? No, I feel like he must have definitely lost it. Ah. Hello, T-34. What happened to you? I guess it just got hit by Kettenwerfers and maybe a Faust. Okay, then. How many years have I been doing this? Oh my god, I'm still so capable of missing the most important moments, even of a 1v1. Good god. Ah, that's an interesting point actually, Datton. Yeah, there could be a lot of Cisgun barrages. Orange Pest indeed, with quite the munition stack, and to be honest, actually, Urban Defense, one of the few commanders that doesn't really just have like a munitions dump, the way you can just be like, Christ, I've got a lot of munitions, let's throw them into my opponent's face. Like, nope, there's no button you can click that really easily does that. Perhaps we could see a sort of glut of booby traps or something? That would be... yeah, indeed, Aki HQ. There are booby traps, but they're not quite as easy to dump munitions into. You do actually have to use units and work to spend those munitions. You can't just be like, here, I'm going to deliver 180 munitions into my opponent's units. Boom! Like, there's no dump, I guess. But yeah, we could definitely see a glut of booby traps. That would make life really irritating here for the Axis player. T-34 here, going to overrun all of the AT resources, actually. So that's really nice, forcing them from the field. Will enable that triple cap to be established once again here for Orange Pest. Actually, no, having said that, loads of Axis units going to like swarm onto east. No, we don't want it. Wow, engineers actually just scared them away. I guess he knew that the T-34 is coming over. Well, the triple cap is established. 153 tickets under 467 as we are barely past the 20-minute mark. That kind of tells you what kind of a game this has been for Caesar here. Now, Schwerpanzer HQ is done. Panzer Authorization is done. And we're getting to the point now where we're going to have sort of Panzer IV money. And perhaps this is a time for the Panzer IV to try and turn this game around. Actually, I'll be honest, the Panzer IV looks great here, doesn't it? We've got no anti-vehicle grenades. Oh, that was a satchel charge. Finding its mark against some Volks. 3-star Volk squad on the chopping block here. Where's the focus fire from Orange Pest? It's coming down, but it looks like the Volks are going to slip away. Nice opportunity created there, and it's nice to see a satchel charge connect, for sure. But not actually going to be enough in this case. But yeah, you know what? I am actually a little bit worried for Orange Pest that... Oh, this is what Orange Pest did last game, actually. Yeah, Orange Pest just doesn't really buy AT guns and just goes for Su-85. I think that's going to be the line here. If this gets spent on another T-34, I do worry that a Panzer IV is going to be able to reverse this game. But if we just save for a T-34... Because even if your Axis opponent has had a bad game, right, which has happened this game, and even if they've been a bit fuel-starved, they're going to get enough money together for a Panzer IV at some point, right? You have to have a plan for that Panzer IV, and I'm hoping Orange Pest is not going to get too carried away and is actually going to realise, hold on now, there's going to be a Panzer IV coming here, and the Panzer IV Alpha J, the OKW Panzer IV is like pretty good. Maybe I should just close the door quite firmly upon that with an Su-85. So that's what I would like to see here. Oh god, Scorched Earth on cutoffs. Eesh. Yeah, Scorched Earth is like quietly one of the most powerful abilities that no one ever uses. Yeah, that ability is like actually gross. It like messes with one of the core mechanics of the game in a way that no other commander can do. So yeah, it's really nasty. Hard to set up indeed, but so worthy. If you can set that up, it's just so worthwhile. Penal Battalion here, creeping on in from an unexpected angle, will displace the MG-34, enabling their brethren here to continue pressuring Axis units who are trying to get something done on this VP. Another sort of fairly obvious satchel grenade will come down here, or satchel charge. Not going to achieve too much. Meanwhile, in the west, it looks like the Panzer IV will reveal itself. Shock troops, of course. Not a great matchup against the Panzer IV for the Soviet player. And they're going to throw some grenades, and then GTFO, I believe. That'll be a smoke, and surely then the fallback. There we go. So, alright, the need for the Su-85 is apparent, I believe. So, how much manpower is that bad boy? 350, alright, so the money has just now lined up for Orange Pest to put the tank destroyer on the queue. We'll see if that's the intention for our Soviet player. I mean, is there a world where you save for a KV-2 and try to use that against the Panzer IV? I don't really like that, though, because I actually feel like Panzer IVs can beat a KV-2. Like, the turret actually doesn't turn very fast on the KV-2. The projectile is kind of slow-ish on the KV-2, and it's just not... It's okay against medium armor, but just okay is not actually the best solution against one Panzer IV, and certainly against two Panzer IVs, like the KV-2 actually starts looking kind of bad. So it does appear to be saving, though. So actually, I reckon he's going for the KV-2. He is going for the KV-2. That's what chat thinks. Oh wow, he actually bought the support. He built the support weapon Campanile. The Zis is here. Thanks, Aki HQ. KV-2 is the best heavy right now. Okay, fair enough. What, you think it's actually really good against medium armor? Fair enough. I mean, I don't doubt that the KV-2 is an immensely powerful unit. And one of the best things about it is that it is very effective. Like, against all targets, it's effective. But I don't like it if I'm building it to try and take out a Panzer IV. But I suppose with Zis guns, we don't need it. Yeah. If we're building Zis guns, then yeah, the KV-2 actually makes a ton of sense, doesn't it? How much manpower is it? 630. So some manpower saving to be done here. Indeed, manpower will be the limiting variable over fuel. And that's going to slow down this KV-2 for just a moment here. But that's okay. We will still get to KV-2. And Jesus Christ, he's down on 57 tickets under 467. Orange Pest doing quite a convincing job of dominating one of the better players that I've cast over the last month or so. So this game, testament to Orange Pest's abilities at the top end of the ladder. With all that infantry, why not upgrade the penals?
Enemy forces are capturing our supplies.
You mean, hang on, upgrade them with what? With PTRSs? Yeah, I'm a little bit confused. The PTRS is not actually very good against infantry. Hey, Blood Yables, what's going on? Magpie is best caster. Magpie 842 is best Soviet caster. In Soviet Russia, game casts Magpie. Sorry, I don't know why I've decided that you have a Soviet accent. It just came across that way in my head. So okay, yeah, the T70 does get taken out here, and Axis units actually having quite a little bit of momentum here, rolling out into the east of the map.
The enemy is encroaching on our territory.
All right, we've nearly got the money. Okay, now we have the money, and the KV2 is a thing. Dun-dun, dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun. All right, let's see what happens. I mean, we're not a million miles away from 2nd Panzer IV here, so if the German player can somehow find a way to not die for 5 minutes or something, then, I don't know, this is going to be a very difficult game. 37 tickets. If you add that to 460, oh, it's 6 now. For a second there, they had a combined total of 500 tickets, but... Alright, hello! Hi, I heard you like Rakettenwerfers. Oh god, he gets Fausted in front of the double Kettenwerfer. Oh no! The KV2 in considerable jeopardy. The Panzer IV going to come in. Where's the Zis gun? It is actually in position, doing great damage. But Blitz is going to push through the arc. The KV2 on death's door! Caesar! You monster! He gets all of the Soviet fuel units. Now hang on everybody, is this game suddenly open? Is there a way to victory here? I don't think anyone saw that happening. Orange Pest, no! Oh my god. Oh my god. Denied. He's just, this is, oh my god. This is rough. This is like turbo rough here. The Panzer IV as well lives. Obersoldaten coming on the queue. Okay, Orange Pest. This is going to be pretty tough. Even the Raketten survived. Yeah. Yeah. I think the KV2 actually only managed to fire 1 or 2 shots there. That is not good value. My keen caster senses can tell you that was a bad KV2. It managed 1 shot. Yikes. Another satchel charge going to come down here from these penals. Shock troopers inching their way into this MG34, but I believe... Oh no, good grenade. Grenade will come down. Donk. And but it won't be enough. He loses a penal squad as well.
Ultimate sacrifice.
Oh no. You know, I think this game just suddenly got extended by half an hour here, boys, because Orange Pest is going to have to take ages here to build up the manpower to get this roster to a place where it makes sense and can actually take the map. 29 tickets here. Caesar is on incredibly thin ice. But off the back of that fantastic kill on the KV2 and the subsequent squad wipe on the Penal Battalion, actually not in the worst position here. Orange Pest is going to get a T-34. I actually don't agree with this T-34. I think that right now as Orange Pest, you need to recognise that you're probably not going to win in the next 5 minutes. I reckon you're probably going to win in the next 15 to 30 minutes. And an Su-85 is the better investment under those circumstances, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, exactly. Yeah, Sarava saying the T-34 is going to be awful against double Raketten and Panzer IV. I agree, right? I agree. The tools are here already to deal with a T-34. We need something that slows the Axis player down and something which gets stronger with time. Because actually time, weirdly, suddenly it's Orange Pest who needs to... Orange Pest just can't win this game in a hurry. Unless we just try and win off of a quick momentum-based play. But we really need a triple cap. And I'm not sure that we have the resources to get to all 3 victory points here. This is just not very many units. I don't know. It's going to be a very interesting next few minutes, whatever happens. So buckle yourselves in, everybody. This one's going to be interesting. Both players faced with an absolutely very tense and fraught set of decisions here, which is going to decide the fate of this game over the next few minutes. Obersoldaten here, finding a lovely opportunity to harvest a lot of veterancy on these shock troops. Dodging the grenade nicely. Kiting with the LMG. And the T-34 at the moment not looking terrible, but that's because the Axis player hasn't really managed to get to grips with it. Yeah, with the Kettenwerfers. No! Okay, actually there's no scouting, so the T-34 catches a bit of a lucky break there. And the Zisgun barrage! Wow, we actually managed to spend our way through the munitions bank here. Orange Pest actually low on munitions now, in fact. Interesting. T-34 here finds a good angle to engage this Panzer IV, but very little in the way of support. And the Panzer IV quickly able to turn to present the superior armour. So the T-34 here going to have to cruise back a little bit, but... Oh, yikes, actually. That's a lot of OKW infantry. We can't lose the Zisgun! We can't lose the Zisgun! Oh, God, no! Did he get some Jägerlights? Wow, he actually... The shock troops... Oh, my God! Oh, God! Oh, God! Okay, the shock troops just won that game. Alright, for all that I was skeptical about the shock troops, they literally won the game there. Those shock troops just massacred 3 squads, just like... And they just killed them. They just killed them. Yeah, the victory points have run out. So, what a game! That was a great game. That was a great game. Orange Pest, well done, man. I mean, that was some entertaining play. That was... What? Yeah. Alright, just bear with me here for a second, everyone. I've just got to check some messages and figure out how much time I have to cast here. Okay. Alright, we still have a minute or two, so cool. Woo! God, that was a spicy one. Oops. Let's just quickly have a look at the post-game screens here. Jeez. Orange Pest. I definitely have some notes for Orange Pest based on these games, but overall I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed. That second game in particular looked very good. Alright, let's have a look. Yeah, I mean, that looks all about as I would expect it to look in a OKW versus Soviet player. Yeah, those Volks being hemorrhaged at relatively early stages actually really changed the texture of this game, didn't they? And then, yeah. Wow, what an interesting game that one was. Okay, guys, I'm going to take a quick break, and then I'll be back in... What time are we now? I'll be back at 51 minutes past the hour. Just going to have a quick break, recharge my drink, and give my voice a quick rest, stretch my legs, all that usual stuff. I'll be back in a little bit, and we're going to cast some more RTS. Thanks very much for tuning in, and keep it locked. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Greetings, what is up, and a very warm welcome back to the channel. The sun is hiding and the magpie is casting. Coming to you guys right now with a schedule announcement. Here we go. So for those of you who didn't know already, this is what we're going to be doing next week. Monday we're doing Midday Magpie, as you may well be used to. And then we're actually going to be casting on Wednesday and Thursday, because it actually turns out casting on a Friday is kind of difficult. It kind of like starts to mess with my weekend plans and whatnot. Yep, that's going to be next week's schedule, so if you want to tune in, those are the days, those are the times. I'll be updating the little Twitch schedule after this stream, so that's that'll all start being more accurate after this. So, let's see what we can find in terms of an entertaining game. Oh dear, I'm not casting that. Oh no, it seems like there are no good players playing. Wah. Ah. Well, how does this... Sony Soho Square is now following. Thank you very much for the follow. Really appreciate the support there, friend. Really glad you like what we're doing here. Thank you for being on board and helping me stay sane during lockdown. That for sure, very much appreciated. All good players are speedrunning the campaign. Really? Is there an event that's going on for that? A-game! Yo! Good to see you, man. Well, there are actually no good Company of Heroes 2 games on the ladder right now. Like, the top-rated game is between The Sloth and My Little War Ponies, both of whom I've cast before, and it's just, with the greatest of respect to them, they just never have been that great of games. They're all, like, relatively forgettable, one-sided affairs, usually. So I'm actually going to just jump in and cast the Deserts of Karak game that I have loaded up, because Deserts of Karak is an awesome RTS, and I've got a replay ready to cast on that one. So give me 2 seconds, we're going to jump on into that. Someone did it yesterday and now everyone's trying it. Huh, okay, fair enough. That's actually quite exciting, to be honest. Speedrunning in Company of Heroes 2, that actually sounds really cool. I can get behind that. That sounds really groovy. I like that. Alrighty, here we go. Loading in to the Deserts of Karak. Looks like today's replay is going to be between No Fun as Knef and Shrike as Coalition. So we're going to load on into that game now. I'm going to bring you guys... Whoops! Whoop, whoop. There we go, super professional. Going to bring you guys on in there. Here we go. On the map. Map's going to be Firebase Krill. Anyone playing Saban anymore? Yeah, someone, somewhere. Probably A-game. Wow, that one took a while to load. Okay. So, let's go ahead and introduce these two players. Spawning in the south here as the blue Coalition forces, it is going to be Shrike. And spawning in the north here, playing as the, what colour are we? Sort of light blue Knefi forces. It is going to be... Wait. It's No Fun! There we go. Sorry, it was confusing me for a second there. I still had Shrike's carrier selected. Okie dokie. Okay, so Firebase Krill here, going to be the map here. And we're going to see what these two players are going to bring to the table. This, of course, part of the replay pack put together by A-Game Angst, and I do thank you very much, sir, for throwing that one together for me. That has made casting this game much more accessible, because it just means that, like, without thinking about it, I just know that I've got a stash of good games to go and cast. It's just, like, so useful. So it's going to be relatively quick refinery mode here for our Knef player. So it's not going to be any kind of, like, super aggressive poke, no railgun push or anything like that we sometimes do see. Looks like the Coalition player is, well, just also, by the look of it, going for a pretty eco-based build here. I imagine we're going to have the support cruiser come down. Oh, sorry, the support cruiser. It's already on the queue. Okay, cool. I'll tell you what, actually, one thing that sort of catches me off guard every so often with Homeworld Deserts of Karak is that production, in all the previous Homeworld games, production kind of looks like these bars. It's like the name of the thing, and then the bar fills up like that, and then when it's full, the unit pops out. In Deserts of Karak, you have these bars, but of course they're to do with the research and the tech tree, which is much more sophisticated. Well, I don't know about more sophisticated, but it's just cooler, I guess, in Deserts of Karak. And the production happens down here or up here if you're in observer mode. So, like, sometimes I look up here and I'm like, that's weird, he's not building any units. And then I'm like, oh yeah, of course, it's because the unit production isn't in the place that my sort of homeworld sense, like, naturally takes my eyes to, that's all. So anyway, so the production cruiser with refinery mode is now happily gathering resources at the second expansion location. Meanwhile, in the south, the support cruiser is out, and that one also happily gathering resources. We've already got the 6 salvages here, actually. So the resources looking pretty tight for our coalition players. A couple of salvages here are still making their way over here. Sandskim is starting to pop out now. And, wow, these 2 players, this is a super passive opening. Not even... Okay, he's going to send out the Sandskimmer, surely. Yeah, we want to have a little bit of a lookout on the map, don't we? Actually, A-game, do players not start with a base runner anymore? Or was this a retire base runner for the Knef player? It was a retire base runner, wasn't it? Okay, cool.
Let's move. Go for carrier.
A couple of LAVs going to be coming out here.
Ready.
Light attack vehicle in service.
Making their way out across the desert.
Deployable out.
Be advised. Hostile carrier detected. Hostiles designated. Trackers assigned. Hostile light attack vehicle detected.
And a nice spread of Sandskimmers here, going to provide decent sensor network coverage.
Ready.
Light attack vehicle online.
Turret on that location.
Yep, I'm a big fan of fanning out your Sandskimmers like this. If you've gone for an eco opening, you don't want to be caught off guard by anything.
Green line confirmed.
Light attack vehicle in service.
Well, the first shot's being exchanged here.
Aerial strike craft now available for production. Carrier production.
Yeah, so they do start with base runner. Okay, cool. Thanks, A-game. So, assault railgun tech. So railgun tech is done for the Knef player, and it's going to be an assault railgun first out of the gate here.
On our way.
Going up to the second production cruiser right now is the Knef player. So both players, by the looks of it, getting set for a longer, more macro-based affair. Both of them wanting to power up their economies and get their production in order before moving out to score any real damage. These assault railguns, it seems, are actually just going to be used as a kind of a defensive screen to keep any strike craft at bay and prevent any sort of harassment or anything like that. Looks like we've got one assault railgun going to be guarding each resource location. As a Sandskimmer going to come on in here, just wanting to have a little scout here, see which modules are raised on the coalition carrier. That is, of course, useful intel. Tells you what your opponent has researched. One of the LAVs is going to go down over here, taken out by the assault railgun and the attending Sandskimmer.
Enemy light attack vehicle marked on approach. We've got hostile on sensors.
And this is one of the most passive games of Deserts of Karak I have seen for some time. So these players are going to be firing on all cylinders. When the action starts, it is going to be intense, I believe, because they are building up a lot of stuff. AAV fabrication just now going to be finishing up for Shrike, and Honor Guard cruiser fab. Oh, blah, 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 blah. What? Okay then, it's going to be an Honor Guard cruiser game. Oh wow, we've got gunships out. Enemy issue 130 above. Okay. So that's a double gunship poke. This is gonna obliterate the resourcing operation. It did get scouted. He must know.
Hostile carrier visually on
A flop, 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 flop.
Research completed.
Oh god.
Armored assault operational.
There is no response. The gunships get to do gunship things.
Armored assault online.
Well, that's rough. Surely, what do we have in place for this, Mr. President?
effective fire.
I don't know. Alright, a fight gets taken in mid here, and, you know, this looks absolutely fine for no fun, but these gunships, oh god, they're going to task into mid here. They want to have a pop at the army. Do we have missile ships? Oh god, do we have Honor Guard anti-air? No. Okay, missile ships are going to come down. But these gunships are rocking. No ammo left indeed, A-game, and thank goodness, because those gunships, like, geez, they did some stuff. But the poke is now coming in. I mean, the gunships are just going to reload and push this away, but I suppose there's a brief window here where the sandskimmers can come in and start chipping away at the resources here. AAVs come in and are going to drench the area in smoke, so that's a useful defensive measure. Assault railguns managed to find a couple of shots there. Gun turret as well from the base runner. I believe that's double gun turret. No. Yeah, that is double gun turret. Going to be purchased as well there. So that's going to ward off this this little bubble of aggression. And once those gunships are reloaded, I believe those are all free kills. If Shrike wants them, we've got double missile ship on the production queue right now. So that is going to be the sort of savior that that No Fun needs to get them through this horrendous gunship abuse that they are suffering right now. Here comes the gunship. Enemy AC 130 is indeed above and doing damage. Where's the other gunship? Oh, just now coming out. And we've also got 3 strike fighters out, so seemingly Shrike going into some pretty heavy air tech here. Let's just quickly check the tech here for No Fun. Still no Honor Guard cruiser anti-air. I know we've got missile ships, but I feel like if we're doing Honor Guard cruisers, we probably want the anti-air at some point. I know it's not a cheap upgrade, and I know it has downsides. Like when you switch it to anti-air mode, the Honor Guard cruiser cannot shoot. It cannot shoot its railgun. But this is quite a heavy investment in air. Having said that, though, actually, it's still only 2 gunships and 3 strike fighters. So actually, you know what? We can manage this with the missile ships. That's actually okay. Strike fighters here going to launch some of their missiles into the workers, actually prompting a mass evacuation. This is actually doing more damage than the strike fighters. So that sort of resource disruption there is actually doing more damage than the strike fighters. So that's fine. That is absolutely fine for Shrike. Going to take that, of course, where you can get it. We're up to 2 missile ships right now, 2 more building. That ought to be enough anti-air. I believe that will do in the face of these 3 strike fighters and 2 gunships. That's enough. So, all right, Sandskimmer raiding. Okay, No Fun. I'm loving the style. This is a sick style. How many upgrades do we have? 1 armor. Okay, we've got 1 armor upgrade, and we're getting Sandskimmer raiding, which, for those of you who don't know, that like makes Sandskimmers way faster. They're like Mutalisks from hell at that point. So, okay, the Honor Guard cruisers, I believe, are out. Yeah, this first one is out, and the next one's on the queue. For those of you who don't know, that's what an Honor Guard cruiser looks like. They are like pretty angry hovercrafts of death with a giant, like, centrally mounted railgun that fires these huge, like, shatter-blasting AoE railgun slugs. And it also has these anti-air rocket launchers at the back here, which can be powered up once the research is done. They've also got some gun turrets, yeah, these little gun turrets on the front here for sort of point defense. So, a scary unit to be sure. You can see the little sensor pod up here, the little bridge, if you like. And that is an Honor Guard cruiser. Fearsome at range. Definitely kind of akin to like an ISU 152 or something, like or perhaps a Brumbar. Like you want to have it just behind your other units, lobbing shells into the foe for maximum effect. But it does need line of sight. It cannot arc shells over cover. It's got a railgun, of course. So. No Fun now going into heavy railguns. I like this. I like this, No Fun. Tactical bomber fabrication. Shrike, you're a madman. How does... What? Are we gonna get... Okay, with the bomber fab coming, which I appreciate that I as a caster know about, and that No Fun does not know about, I feel like we need Honor Guard cruiser anti-air as soon as we see these bombers, because if that's what we're doing... Oh god, the gunship as well. Okay, it actually doesn't trade the best there, but he nearly gets the Honor Guard cruiser. Now, for those of you who don't know, Knef and Galzian units self-repair quite rapidly, so if we keep an eye on the HP here, you can see it's repairing at like 50 per tick, more or less. So that actually will repair itself quite rapidly. So being brought to death's door and then not being killed is like actually pretty goddamn annoying. He's going to get a high ground ambush on this assault cruiser. Unforced error there by Shrike, actually. No need for that assault cruiser to go down. Even the AAV's rushing in. He really wants to take this high ground. Not quite sure why we're just ripping in there. Meanwhile, 2 AAVs going to go for the backstab here, but the missile ships going to use their missile barrages. If we can pick up a missile ship, though, any way that we can weaken the anti-air network here for the Knef player is going to be valuable when we're building, or when we have bomber tech. So I believe both of the... No, one of the gunships is still alive. Triple bomber comes on the production queue. What is this game? I don't think I've ever seen a game of Deserts of Karak that looks at all like this, so I don't really know what to expect. Honor Guard cruiser here taking some pretty, like, shattering shots into these AAVs. And the railguns as well going to be piling in some damage as a parting gift there. Sand skimmers with raiding come in for a poke, but the AAVs with their suppressive chain guns are here to push those away. No Fun going to be grabbing that third production cruiser, and that is usually an announcement of intention that we want to weaponize the carrier and liberate it to go out onto the front. When you have 3 production cruisers, you don't need the carrier to be sat at home doing resourcing. You can leave that to the production cruisers, and as I say, that liberates the carrier to come forward and start hooning in for damage. Now here come the bombers, they're going to reveal themselves. Now these guys hit hard. There's that Honor Guard cruiser exposed. Gets put down to death's door. Where are the strike fighters? We need a KO blow here. We need somebody to get the damage down. Okay, the third bomber will be the ticket. And that will be the demise of one of the Honor Guard cruisers there. The shattered hulk of that unit smashes down into the sand. But the other Honor Guard cruiser alive and well. Do we have Honor Guard cruiser anti-air? No. And there are no missile ships with this poke. So this Honor Guard cruiser will be dead when these bombers reload. You can see they're just landing now. Oh god, you know what? He's actually going to die a lot sooner. Whew, the turrets are actually quite good against that, of course. It looks like a quad AAV backstab lining up to go in over here, but there's more than enough railguns to take care of these guys. Even the Knef carrier going to be firing some cruise missiles in at these boys. And the stalemate continues. Neither player with any base runners. There has been no objective action. The 3 artifacts seemingly of no interest to these 2 warring factions. So, make of that what you will. To be honest, actually, No Fun has had quite a lot of field control, having had forward units most of the time, and definitely controlling this area for the most of the sort of 14 minutes that have already elapsed in this game. So I feel like actually there was an opportunity to go for these artifacts there, but I mean you can rarely do everything at once in this game, so not prioritizing that, and that's okay. Missile ships are going to get bombed. Here comes the next bomber. And it's a gunship, actually. That first gunship's still alive. And it will pick up a railgun. Is the missile ship going to get a final shot on it? It will get one final shot. And that's going to be enough to bring the gunship down in a blaze of shrapnel and burning fuselage. And here comes a poke into the third location. Knef forces. What do we got here? Heavy railguns with missile ships. So this is a reasonably durable poke. And I wonder if this is going to force those AAVs on the flank to come back and throw smoke. Indeed, they are going to respond. And here comes the tactical bomber, but this is what the missile... Oh, they're not split! They're not split! Oh, that's a mistake. You need to split the missile ships. You know your opponent has tactical bombers. Oh no! Oh no! He's going to get the maximum punish for it. Oof. Picking up both of the missile ships there. Bit of a mistake. Bit of a mistake there from No Fun. Definitely didn't need to lose both of them there. And now that they're both gone, now the strike fighters can come in with impunity and start picking off heavy railguns. And actually this poke will not be rewarded at all. Getting quite punished for this, in fact, is No Fun. Is that the gunship coming in for a bit more fun? No, it's the heavy bomber. Okay. Alright. Still no Honor Guard cruiser anti-air. Huh. Oh, he did kill the support cruiser. Okay, thanks again. Thanks for setting me straight. Those heavy railguns actually did get enough firing time to kill the support cruiser. Nicely done. Hey, Tricorn. No, you have actually missed the Company of Heroes, I'm afraid. I might cast one more game after this. It depends how much time we have. Okay. Missile ship barrage comes down, picks off one of the assault armored assaults. The railgun's slamming home. And those armored assaults will be forfeit. The Knef player pushing up. This is why I think a couple of base runners would be really nice. Let's just take a look at the resource float.
Armor systems active.
Oh yeah. So I would love a couple of base runners. The resource float is there.
Confirmed. Launch bomber.
So a couple of base runners right now for no fun would be really sick, because that way we can just, even if this assault doesn't go super well, we're still winning the game that way. So it's just a way of hedging your bets and applying a bit more pressure. And to be honest, if you're weaponizing your carrier, you want the artifacts anyway. So anyway, cruise missiles from the Knef carrier starting to find their mark against the coalition carrier. Let's check the power reserves. For the coalition player, 4 is done, 5 on the way. For the Knef player, 3 is done, 4 on the way. So definitely an advantage right now for the coalition carrier. But the Knef cruise missiles hit hard, man. What is he aiming for? He's aiming for the railguns. Nice, he actually gets one as well. Don't know what happens to the graphics there. It's not generating the explosions on those cruise missiles. Meanwhile, fighting going on over in the west. It looks like the primary resource location going to be under threat. Heavy railguns and missile ships doing a drive-by there, but I'm going to keep the camera over here, framing the action between the two carriers as the coalition carrier are going to be coming in hard. Cruise missiles are really nasty. I'm kind of surprised that he's focusing down these units at the back with the cruise missiles, because like, those cruise missiles do so much damage to carriers. Gets the missile barrage off of the missile ships as well. Still routing the cruise missiles. I mean, I guess the railguns are an important target, and that was a lot of damage. And now, if we have any sand skimmers to come in and finish that off, that would be lovely. 2 more cruise missiles, that should do. Doof. Yeah, Knef. Doing Knef stuff. I love it. Gotta say, I'm a little bit of a Knef fanboy. But, this carrier fight is getting out of hand. The coalition carrier just has more stuff. We need to pipe money into the re-established systems, and that is happening right now. So this Knef carrier is desperately healing itself. Massive amounts of damage being inflicted. Railguns have a brutal surround, and that has to be game. There is no way out for this coalition carrier, and the repair rate on the Knef carrier ought to be enough. Oh, he needs to stop kiting. Tactical nuke. A tactical nuke is used. Oh, and that is going to be the kill. Oh, I thought for sure that No Fun had that. Oh, but the tactical nuke is good. Wow. I wonder how much more repairs he needed. Was that felt close. I think that carrier nearly survived that tactical nuke as well. Christ, that was a close game. Every game that we've cast of Deserts of Karak recently has been like super close, to be honest. What a great game that was. Damn. Whoa. Even right at the end there, I thought for sure No Fun had it, and then that nuke popped out, and I was just like, like, you know? Jeez. All right. Okay, well, we do have enough time to cast one more game of Company of Heroes, so we're going to jump back on the Company of Heroes, but damn, that was sick. Mish Q18, that, what game is it? That is game 1, or if you're asking what game it is, that's Homeworld Deserts of Karak, one of the coolerest RTS games that you can play. It's really well designed. The unit interactions and most of all the pacing of the game are considerably spot on. Aki HQ, I believe it's in the sale, so if you were thinking of buying it, I think it's pretty cheap right now. I could be wrong, but I think it might be in the Steam sale. So yeah, check it out. Yeah, I in hindsight, I do agree with targeting the rails with the cruise missiles. It's difficult, though. Oh, yeah, there you go, Aki HQ. It's 90% off right now, so yeah, like $2.50 according to Datton. Yeah, Deserts of Karak is like one of the best RTSs, and the reason you don't hear about it is because it got off to a terrible start in life, okay? When it launched, for some reason, it didn't have replay support, the matchmaking was broken, and there were like 2 or 4 maps for multiplayer. So everyone played the campaign, which by the way is amazing. For $2.50, you're getting a good RTS campaign there for a start. Everyone played the campaign and then left the game. And it took them quite a long time to fix it. So yeah, I mean, if you launch an RTS with no multiplayer, it's the longevity of that game is affected. And I really feel for BBI because they put together one of the best RTSs. Like, it's just such a good RTS. And then it was sabotaged because of the state it was released in. And yeah. But it still has a devoted community, and the Discord is very active. So if you do pick up the game, definitely get hooked into the Discord server. You'll find a load of really productive, useful, knowledgeable voices there who will be able to tell you how to get started and sort of, what you need to be thinking about as you sort of find your feet with the game. So I'm heading back onto the Company of Heroes 2 lobby here, and there's actually still no great looking games. So I guess I'm just going to take the top one and hope that we get something cool out of it. It's between two players that I don't really know. One of them I've cast before, but it wasn't an especially noteworthy game. Oh, okay. So $2.50 is the DLC. The game itself is like $4 or $5 or something. But I mean, that's still value, man. That's still great. Is Homeworld Remastered good? Yeah. Homeworld Remastered is a lot of fun. If you have never played Homeworld, you're in for a treat. The Homeworld games are like in my top games of all time because I never like RTS campaigns. I didn't play the Red Alert campaign. I didn't play the StarCraft campaign. I barely played the Total Annihilation campaign. I am not into RTS campaigns at all, except for Homeworld, the campaign, I'm not going to lie to you guys, like the Homeworld campaign, Homeworld 1 was like one of the most emotional video gaming experiences of all time. Pretty much the whole way through, I was like really invested in what was happening to the point where like, honestly, I just felt really emotional about the whole campaign. It was just so cool. Very well done. And also it's a really cool campaign for an RTS because it's a space fleet, right? So the ships that you have and the ships that you get and the ships that you build go with you from one mission to the next, so you get really invested in your fleet of ships. You might have a destroyer which like survives for like 4 or 5 missions or more, and like it becomes like a really storied unit in your mind because it's that one destroyer. Also, Homeworld has this cool mechanic where you can like capture and board enemy ships and like storm the bridge and like steal the ship essentially. And so like it's really cool that you have this persistent fleet, and you might have like a captured carrier or like a captured unit or something that's like persistent, and it's just a really cool idea. It's just a lot of cool things in Homeworld Remastered, basically. It's just awesome. You could do a lot worse than buying that. Anyway, let's go and bring you all into this game of Company of Heroes that I've got here. Spawning in the west as the German infantry... No! As the Storm Doctrine Wehrmacht forces going for a Wehrmacht sniper, it's going to be Probuti. And spawning in the east here as the United States forces going for the Mechanized Company, it's going to be Buscali, or Buscal. Yeah, Mechanized Company versus Storm Doctrine. Now, not often we see the Storm Doctrine. Ambush training, half-track Regal AT mines, smoke bombs, Lef 18 artillery, and the Stuka bombing strike is your random smattering of sort of generic Wehrmacht abilities attached to this particular commander. Difficult to assess in a vacuum, but I'm not initially super enthused or impressed with what I see there. But, Probuti is playing at the top of the ladder right now and must have taken this for a reason, so I am open to having my eyes opened, or open to having my mind changed about what this commander can do. German sniper build is always going to be interesting, of course, and adds a little bit of spice to the game. And actually, though, pretty unlucky to be going up against the Mechanized Doctrine. No WC-51 yet as well. What's going on with that? We've got Mechanized, but with WC-51-less? I guess we actually do have the munitions for the machine gun upgrade. Are you really going to play Mechanized Company and not use the WC-51 in the early game? What? That's like going for a 12 pool and then droning up. I guess it's not that bad, but it's like there is an inherent strength with this commander which you are not using. And you have scouted the fact that your opponent has a sniper, which makes the WC-51 even more appealing. What? Wait. Okay, well, we're just not gonna see a WC-51 immediately, which seems pretty out there, if I'm honest. You're playing against a Wehrmacht sniper. It's gonna be a utility car opening? I mean, this is also fine, but it's just like you could have used the WC-51 as well. Oh well, whatever. For whatever reason here, Pascal is going to decline to go for one of the most frantically underpriced, over-able units in the entire of Company of Heroes history. That WC-51 truck has more abilities than most commanders, and it costs 200 manpower, as I recall. Let me check. Yep, just 200 manpower. Just 200 manpower, and you know has more abilities than your average commander. Like seriously, it's pretty good. But yeah, not going to call that one in. Interesting. So triple grenadier going to be backing up this sniper. Probably going to go into an MG next. Denis Kadihevsky. That's a hell of a name. This is not a tournament, I'm afraid. No, this is just a live game casting. So this is a game that's being played right now, live from the ladder. I'm just casting for fun at the moment. And yeah, this is the last game of the day. I think it's the game 4 of our Company of Heroes 2 casting spree today. So indeed it is also match. But yeah, welcome aboard, friend. I don't think I've seen you in the chat before. So good to have you. Now, we've got cavalry riflemen going to be out here. Tommy gun upgrade finishing on them. And I feel like this is probably quite a good spot for an MG42, but I appreciate that Prabuti is also going to need to make some adaptations. Oh no! Well, that'll be a dead sniper then. The utility car is going to provide a good amount of... Oh, okay, he does get away. Sorry, he does get the sniper. For a second there, I thought he was going to get away. A Faust is going to connect, but that's... He'll take a Faust for a sniper any day. And the Wehrmacht sniper proving... I mean, it's a high-risk investment, and in this example, that risk has not translated to value. And that's a shame for Prabuti here. 360 manpower is a lot to have wiped off of your roster at the early stages of the game. But that is the nature of the risk you take on when you go for a German sniper, and he's going to be punished for it there. I still feel like he could have been much more severely punished if it was a WC-51 truck. Just give me a second, I'm going to pour myself a cup of tea. Yeah, I really feel like the WC-51 would have been the hard punish there. Going to have a pack gun here coming out at the, 6-minute mark, so it'll be out here in a few seconds. And that, of course, going to be useful against the vehicular style that this US player is going for.
Shift your fire! Shift your goddamn fire!
Oh dear, well things are looking pretty bad for Prabuti, really. Outmatched, outclassed, outmaneuvered, and outgunned by this US roster, which is faster, hits harder, has more sophistication, and is bigger. So, yeah, a rough spot to be in, to be sure. But not the end of the world yet. Definitely some room to maneuver and plenty of time left in this game for Prabuti to build up their forces and make the adaptations necessary to get something done. But if I crack the tack, we can see the problem is already becoming apparent. This American army is very dominant, and that is translating into substantial amounts of ground control here. Lots of the map turning red here, and that will be a massive resource differential favouring the American player. Some brave pioneers here are going to try and redress that by at least swiping a fuel point for the Axis cause. But that alone will not be enough to offset this gross disparity. Pascal getting off to a ridiculously good start here. And it's going to be a very tough prospect for our Wehrmacht player as we move forward in this game. And I mean, Storm Doctrine, like, I just don't see any tools here which are immediately, pardon me, useful. So that's tough for the Wehrmacht player. And weapon rack research is going to finish up in a second here, and there has been a stack of munitions flowing in for Pascal. So, he's rebuying the sniper. I don't think I like this. Huh. I mean, in a vacuum, right, snipers are objectively good against USF because USF infantry is decent but more expensive than, say, conscripts or whatever. So, like, per skull you're busting, per bullet to the brain, that sniper is, like, providing more value. But But that is considerably balanced by the fact that USF gets a lot of really fast options for getting to grips with your sniper, and we are seeing just one of them, the utility car. But I still don't really feel like, I mean, you've got 3 Fausts and a pack gun, but that utility car could definitely still find ways of poking in and getting a sniper. So this sniper, no less risky than the first one, in my opinion. And the thing is, as well, usually units that are high risk are also high reward within the same time frame. What's a good example?
The enemy is overrunning one of our capture points. Supply line just
Okay, all right. Let's use the Panzerwerfer as an example. Okay, Ostwind. Okay, that's a reasonable example, I guess. But I'm going to use the Panzerwerfer as an example. So Panzerwerfers are like relatively high risk because they're super fragile. But the reward can be massive because that rocket barrage can like level a ton of units or something. But the sniper actually doesn't. There is no opportunity for a sudden landslide of value. You know what I mean? So you're using a high risk unit that cannot quickly recoup its value. The sniper is only good in games where it survives for a long time. It gathers value slowly over time. So actually, the sniper is quite a weird sort of package for a unit, isn't it? I mean, it's high cost, but it's actually low reward. It's like steady reward over time, and I'm not convinced that that is the sort of unit characteristics that Prabuti is looking for to sort of get back in this game. But you know what? Speaking of getting back in this game, let's crack the tack. The midline of the map is being accessed again by German forces. We have control of at least one victory point, and we're shortly to have control over a fuel point, which I often say is kind of the bare minimum that you need to try and achieve to give yourself a chance as the game goes on. And I actually quite like where the Axis composition is headed to. We've got quad grenadier, double LMG 42, the pack gun's still alive, and we're at a point now where definitely we can start trying to take fights against this pretty scary American roster. So that's okay. Also, it seems that somewhere I have missed the utility car dying, for which I apologize, but that is kind of the Magpie special, isn't it? Missing important units dying off camera. But it's happened again. Something's happened to that utility car. I guess it involved a Faust and a pack gun, probably. But it is now dead, so... so there we go. Yeah. You're right, Mobson. Now that the utility car is dead, that sniper has a much better environment within which to thrive. So I like that. And I would almost argue that this is too many Zooks for the United States forces. I mean, it's nice having Zooks on your rear esh, and it's nice buying the Zook upgrade for your captain, but there's actually nothing for these Zooks to do at the moment. So that is actually kind of a little bit of wasted value in a way. Lieutenant, they're actually getting nearly wiped out. Got to be a bit careful. LMG 42 Grenadiers are pretty punchy, so you do have to remember that when you time your fullbacks. Going up to 5 Grenadier squads. Are we going to start buying ambush camo? Oh, ambush camo competes with the LMG? No, it doesn't. Okay, sorry. All right. I didn't think it did. All right, cool. Okay. All right. How much is ambush camo? It's only 20 actually. All right. I mean, I'm ready to see some Storm Doctrine stuff. Let's see some ambush camo in action, maybe. I mean, Wehrmacht forces are always like so munitions intensive. We really actually don't really have the munitions to just be going for ambush camo willy-nilly. We kind of still want to be saving that for Fausts, possibly rifle grenades, LMG upgrades, and so forth. So it was on screen. Oh my god, Mobsin. That is the proper Magpie special, is when I'm like so busy looking at the top left, looking at the top right, looking at the minimap, looking at chat, because I'm kind of still quite new-ish. I've been streaming on Twitch for like a month, but I've been casting RTS for years, but only really streaming on Twitch for a month. So like the whole having chat and like keeping an eye on my stream, there's just so many more things that I have to be keeping an eye on. And to be honest, one thing that I think people might not realize until they try, and I realise I'm talking about stuff that's not the game for a moment, and there is interesting stuff happening. We've got a Major, we've got a Sherman, but just as an aside, I think one thing that people don't realize until they try is that actually casting an RTS, it's actually not as easy as you think it is when you're watching. Like, because if you're just watching, you're like, this caster is wrong about this, he's missing some of the action, like, what an idiot, you know, and that's really easy to do when you're watching. But when you actually start casting, because you have to keep up a consistent, continuous monologue, or dialogue if you're co-casting with someone, that's actually quite a weird thing to do, whilst you are also maneuvering the camera to try and frame the action and trying to maintain game awareness. So then to add on top of that chat and Twitch stuff, I'm not saying it's impossible, I'm not even saying it's super hard, but it is a skill that you have to learn, and like all skills, it's like a muscle, and it gets stronger the more you use it, and I'm definitely still in that learning phase. What was I... there another point occurred to me whilst I was saying that, but I've already forgotten it. Yeah, fifth Grenadier squad is interesting, and you know what? He's kind of reversed this game. Like, the map is turning blue. Grenadiers with LMGs, and there are 4 of them with LMGs now. Oh, arg. What is this fullback? Oh god, the fullback there kind of took him around the long edge of this fence. Actually still going to be okay. They're going to get out of there just fine, but like that was a bit awkward. That is a Sherman 76. Okay, cool. I like the Sherman 76. The rate of fire on these bad boys pretty ferocious. And I kind of, to be honest, although the high explosive armor-piercing shell dynamic on your regular Sherman is fun for a while, maybe it's just because I come from a long history of playing Axis factions, but I just kind of like my tank to just kill everything all the time. Like, give me a Panzer IV because it will just kill everything all the time. I don't have to worry about choosing the correct ammo type because the Panzer IV will just kill the thing that it's shooting at. And that's great. I prefer that. And the Sherman 76 is definitely in that second camp. So that for me is the better way to do medium tanks. So Datton, Grenadiers have 2 weapon slots. So you can pick up an LMG and a BAR if you want. You can also have an LMG and a flamethrower, or you know, an LMG and a Panzerschreck, or whatever else it is that you happen to pick up. Yeah. Grenadiers can take 2 weapons. If you're insanely lucky, or unlucky, depending on how the game has gone, you can actually get 2 LMG 42s onto a Grenadier squad, and that's pretty gross. That is probably outdone only by Obersoldaten with double LMG.
A capture point is under attack.
So, looks like it's going to be Panzer IV here out of the Support Armor Corps Tech. One of the Grenadier squads has a BAR as well? Yeah, probably. If there's one thing American squads are good at, it is littering the battlefields with weapons. Interesting take, Mobsin. I actually still think that the Panzer IV is a decent matchup against the Sherman, especially because he has a pack gun. In case things go wrong, you can fall back into the pack gun. I do take your point that the Sherman 76 is quite good against Panzer IVs, but I still think the Panzer IV is just in a good enough spot in the meta, and just the way it's been balanced at the moment, the Panzer IV honestly just seems good all the time, which is why we see it pretty much every game from all of the Wehrmacht forces, all of the Axis factions. So I think the Sherman 76 is much better than a regular Sherman against the Panzer IV, but I still think the Panzer IV does fine against pretty much any Sherman chassis vehicle. Like, you can definitely win with a Panzer IV, and it's not super bad of a fight. If you get 2 Sherman 76s, that's where Panzer IVs start looking a little bit bad, because like the fire rate on the Sherman 76, especially once you have 2 of them, you can actually just close out the fight before the Panzer IVs have even really had time to like take that many shots. And like if you are ending the fight that quickly before the Panzer IVs can even roll that many shots, it's like, okay, then it starts being really good. So yeah, if he can go up to double Sherman 76, and we've nearly got the money for it actually. He's actually floating a decent manpower bank as well. Actually, both players with a reasonable manpower bank. Exciting. Going to see where they decide to route those resources, but yeah. Let me just check. All right. I would kind of like to see Battle Phase 3, because if you see that your opponent has Sherman 76s, it is kind of tempting to go for the old Panther, isn't it? Hemidoranki, what's going on, friend? I don't exactly know how many games you missed, to be honest, but we did cast some Homeworld Deserts of Karak. Bloody fantastic game thereof, by the way. Really good Homeworld Deserts of Karak game. Super exciting. what a nail-biter with one of the most memorable finishes to a game I think I've ever seen. So if you're into the homeworld action, do check out the VOD on YouTube when that one's uploaded. It was a spicy game. Yeah, we had a couple of great games with Orange Pest as well, actually. Yeah, I mean, I agree, Mobson. I reckon he's got plenty of anti-infantry. He's actually keeping this American infantry roster under wraps. This American infantry roster feels a little small. I feel like the manpower is there. I think a third rifleman squad would actually be fine, or a fourth if you count the cavalry riflemen as riflemen. But I mean, a third actual rifleman squad would be just fine here. That would be useful, I feel like we do. Or, I mean, we've got some Lieutenant Tech, so we could grab a 50 cal or two. I think that would also be a decent option for the US player here. But hang on now. Panzer IV caught with the armor facing in an awkward direction. Rear Esh with Zooks able to get a considerable amount of damage on that one. It is able to fall back to the safety of the pack gun. But that was a slightly worrying moment for the Wehrmacht player. Lef 18 going to be getting built here in a reasonably defensible position. So if we sort of check here, we can extend our camera along the range. And Lef 18s have got quite good range, actually, haven't they? So he can fire that into the American base, if needs be. So there we go. There's a Zook dropped here. Could be interesting. These LMGs, man. LMG 42 Grenadiers have, and I think always will be, been very good in this game. They just kill infantry very quickly. So, yeah, I am quite a fan of seeing the quintuple MG42 out here. Now let's have a look. That Lef 18 is finished, I believe, yep. So, could start casting shells into the ranks of the Americans at any point. I'm just going to give that one a hotkey, actually, so we can keep an eye on its cooldowns. Oh, you can't hotkey them? Oh, wow, you actually just can't hotkey them in observer mode. Well, there you go. Okay, big fight being taken here. Double Sherman 76 has arrived now. Smoke comes down to try and block out the pack gun, and you know what? If that pack gun gets taken out, and it's quite fragile, and it is being pushed on, that is actually a core part of this Axis roster, and without the pack gun, I actually worry for the Axis player. Okay, there we go. Does get the pack gun out of there safely. That was a little bit of a potentially worrying moment, bit of tension there, but he's going to be okay. Sniper here, 22 American brains evacuated. That is... This second sniper is going on... If he gets to like 30 or 35 kills, it's probably paid for both snipers at that point. Oh, the Lef 18 shells are coming in. And finding some hits there. Let's check the veterancy. It gets its first star of veterancy, in fact. Wow. A good opening barrage there. 5 kills, first star of veterancy. Gives it the somewhat useless... Well, I don't really rate the counter barrage veterancy ability. I think it needs some work because it never feels relevant. But it's there. It's available. Second Panzer IV on the queue. So we're staying at medium armor, staying at Battle Phase 2 tech, it appears, for now, for the Wehrmacht player. Let me just see. Still not going for Battle Phase 3. Interesting. I mean, the reason it's interesting to make a conscious decision to stay on Battle Phase 2 nowadays is that, of course, Battle Phase 3 actually gives you some pretty good buffs, like army-wide buffs, with the reduction to reinforcement cost and the reduction to capture time, or the increased capture speed, if you like, which is, like, pretty nice stuff to have. Like, most armies would sort of fall over themselves to get those kind of buffs. So it is strange that Wehrmacht players don't more often go for Battle Phase 3 and just throw down the Heavy Panzer Corps. You don't have to build a unit from it. It's actually not too... How much is Battle Phase 3? 35 fuel, and the Heavy Panzer Corps is like 15 fuel or something, so it's actually pretty cheap, relatively, to go for that tech building. And then once you have it, like Wehrmacht actually struggle with manpower, particularly in the late game. Like, by the way Company of Heroes 2 is designed, all factions struggle with manpower in the late game. But hang on now, the Sherman 76 is going to come in here for a dive. Panzer IV is responding. Sniper gets caught out, though. That'll have to be... Oh no, he actually manages to duke it back. Pack gun in jeopardy, but double Panzer IV means that the pack gun is not so important anymore. Zook's going to start raining in, and that was the anti-vehicle satchel charge. Yep, coming down off of the cavalry rifleman. Gonna cripple one of the Panzer IVs. It's trying to limp on out of there, and these Grenadiers need to fall back. Jeez, that was a lot of fire. The Sherman turret is tracking the weakened Grenadier squad, but it's actually not going to get the kill. Speaking of getting the kill, though, this Panzer IV is ripe. Need to get the rear Esh out the building! Oh no, the rear Esh will be... Whoa! Left that to the last second to get those rear Esh out the building. Jeez. I really thought those rear Esh were done for. And somehow, both of these two players get... No! Oh no, he's going to lose a Sherman 76. Oh, that should be an easy kill for the Panzer IV. Bonk. Oh no! I thought both of the players were actually going to get out of that fight with all their units in a supreme display of skill and coordination. But no, one of the Sherman 76s kind of awkwardly retreating with its rear armor facing the Axis tank. And that's an easy kill for the Panzer IV, of course. And that Panzer IV will snap that one up. Now the Lef 18 is barraging. Ooh! This is scary stuff right now. He's had to move the ambulance. That's how weird... Oh! Oh, these Lef 18 rounds are really scary, aren't they? Oh god, the rate of fire is like decent as well. He's picked up like 6 kills and like half of his second star of veterancy on the Lef 18 now, so definitely not looking like too bad of an investment so far. And you know what, actually, the Lef 18 is actually uniquely well positioned, specifically against mechanized company, because usually when you build a Lef 18, what happens is your allied opponent gets line of sight on it at some point. Usually that's quite easy to do. And then just dump some munition thing on it, like, incendiary artillery, or like, airstrike, and it's just like, bleh, like, your Lef 18 dies. But Mechanized Company actually just doesn't have that button. There are no buttons you can just press to make your enemy's stuff explode. There's like, it just doesn't get that. I guess you can't have everything. Unless you build the WC-51, which does have artillery to call in, so like, I guess the commander kind of does get it, but for whatever reason, Pascal declining to use the WC-51 in this game. And, yeah, won't have that artillery to call in.
Losing a capture point.
So strange to see Wehrmacht out-infantrying USF. Yeah, I know, man. Yeah, without an MG42 as well. Yeah, I mean, perhaps 5 is the magic number when it comes to Grenadiers. I don't know.
Capture point is under attack.
There is no more capture speed from Tier 4 as far as I know. Really, Caton? Did they change that? I didn't know that there was a patch. I could be wrong, though. Did they remove that? Oh, well, I don't know. That seems like a really cool... I don't think they should have removed it, if that's true. Okay, big push here from the American player, though. Sherman 76 is coming in. Armored skirts finish on one of the Panzer IVs. Pat gun is firing. I don't think this is a good fight for the American player. Oh, it was breaking stuff? Oh. Okay, thanks, guys. Thanks for the update. Oh, that's a shame, because it was one of the more, like, unique things that Wehrmacht could do. So, that's a kind of a shame. And, I mean, every time a fight happens, the German forces are getting more value. And, like, look at the top left, look at the top right. You don't need me to tell you who is most well-positioned to take this game right now. This... Despite getting off to a fantastic start with killing a German sniper really quick and dominating the map in the first few minutes, Prabuti with quite the turnaround and has not let his pedal off his foot off the gas since. And these German grenadiers, three-star LMG grenadiers, will rip through your dudes, even in cover. I am sorry, sir. You will have to fall back this infantry. You are not welcome here. Please redirect your forces. And look, the Lef 18 is on 2 stars now. These shells just raining in. He's going to pick up the ambulance just off of splash damage off these Lef 18 shells at some point. The ambulance is not being repaired. Oh, there it goes! And so the Magpie saith, lo, thus was it. That's a Stuka dive bomb! Okay, bit of a waste there. Turns out the ambulance is already dead, mate. But there you go. It did feel a bit... I do agree with you, Emma Duranke. Perhaps all factions should have access to that kind of ability. And it did feel wonky. Not just asymmetrical, but weird. That Wehrmacht were the only faction who got access to that kind of thing. And to be honest, I still think it feels a bit wonky that Wehrmacht are the only faction who get the decrease to reinforced costs through their top tier building. But, having said that, Wehrmacht were in a kind of terrible place. Like, it was just OKW. Like, that was the Axis faction. And part of that was because Wehrmacht tier 3 was so god-awful. So I do appreciate the designers or the balancing team exploring new design space with how to make Vermac good. And I think it's largely worked, to be honest. I do applaud their efforts. And that's game. I mean, likely, yes, Panzer IV goes down here, but killing a Panzer IV is good, but it's rarely enough when this is your infantry. That is it. You do need infantry to win the game. They're important, so it's a rough spot to be when you don't have any. That's the way of things.
Allied AT gun has been destroyed.
Soviets have decreased reinforce with the 7-man cons. That I did not know. I didn't actually know that reduced the reinforce cost of the conscripts. That's pretty cool. Thanks for that little nugget there of knowledge, Comrade Strelok. And the Lef 18 continuing its reign of terror. I mean, for better or worse, Pascal is staying in this game, but it doesn't look great, does it? As I pour myself another cup of tea.
I say again, allies at 100 points.
Yeah. It's not looking great. Desperately, the Sherman 76s are repaired, but 91 tickets in the bank and under a triple cap right now. Does get some rear ash onto the Northern VP, so that is something, but unlikely, you have to feel, to be enough. 35 kills now on this Wehrmacht sniper, so probably that means that the 2 Wehrmacht snipers have just about paid for themselves on average. Like, they are now probably just about breaking even as an investment. Yeah, that Lef is raining chaos. It's nice to see a Lef 18 actually look good in a game, because to be honest, I'm not sure I've ever seen a Lef 18 actually look good. I've seen them look okay, I've seen them look like a reasonable idea, but this is the first one where I've been like, yeah, you know what, that Lef 18 is solid, isn't it? Oh god, what have we lost? Oh, I don't know, we lost like... Oh no, 3 squads of infantry is how many we've had, I remember. And the Panzer IV's closing in now, tightening the noose. As the last victory tickets drain from the scoreline of Pascal here. Riflemen get gunned down under the barrel of Hitler's chainsaw, the MG42. And the 2 Sherman 76s going to come in for a last hurrah here. And they will achieve a kill on a Panzer IV, so that's nice. A little bit of dignity salvaged on the way out the door here for Pascal. Not that Pascal is really lacking for dignity in this game. This was a good game, but... just ground and gets both Panzer IVs, okay. And smoke coming down on the pack gun as well, nice. But the problem, of course, is the infantry roster. Cavalry riflemen, hang on now, have these infantry been forgotten about? Prebusi, whoa! Prebusi there, hemorrhaging one of his veteran squads of grenadiers. That was an unforced error, just perhaps a bit flustered. Loses the pack gun as well. I mean, yeah, Strelok, you're not necessarily wrong. The resource management has not quite been there from Pascal. There have been sort of weird amounts of manpower floating at weird moments in this game. One of the Sherman's going to go down there. But like I said when this game started, I actually couldn't see any sort of the good players, if you like, playing. So I just took a punt and decided to cast the sniper. Took a punt and decided to cast the top game on the ladder, and you know, sometimes you get good games that way, sometimes you do not. And I would say that this has kind of been probably a fine game to have cast, even though, yeah, there was some manpower in the tank and some subpar decision making perhaps from some of our at some moments in this game.
We got a rifle squad waiting for orders.
He did take a good fight, Tricorn, absolutely. Desperately scrambling for more Sherman. Going to be a regular Sherman, I believe. Going to be joining the roster next. And we're up to 3 squads of cavalry riflemen. Okay. Not that it's going to matter, of course. The victory point situation will decide this game.
Tank support is here. Sherman ready.
Elpern is raiding with a party of 35. My goodness, sir. Thank you very much. welcome aboard, everybody. You're just seeing the closing stages of what has been quite an interesting Wehrmacht vs. US game. Dominated by a quintuple Grenadier squad kind of choice, which has actually just paid dividends. That one's going to be over. A handy win there for Prabuti. Absolutely cracking stuff there. This is not a speed run, no. I gather that everyone's doing speed running, but I'm just casting games off the ladder. So, alright, we've got time for one last game. Did anyone see the sick Tokyo drift on the Sherman at the end? I actually did not know. Alright, hang on. Let's bring you guys to a picture of my face. Hey everybody, what's up and welcome. I'm Magpie842. I am an RTS caster. Having some fun out here, casting games off the ladder for Company of Heroes 2, seeing what we see. But it does seem like all the good players are actually speed running right now, so like, I really am not seeing any great players. We're going to cast one last game for the day, I think. And it's going to be... We haven't cast a Langraskaya game, so I'm going to cast a Langras game. We're going to take a punt on two players that I don't know. And we'll just see what happens. We'll just have to see what happens. Thanks once again, Elpen. Very much appreciate the host. That's some cool stuff. So it's going to be an OKW versus USF game here on Langraskaya for our final game. I'll bring you guys on into that game here momentarily. But since this is going to be the last game I cast today, let's go for a quick schedule announcement. Next week I'll be casting Midday Magpie on Monday at 1200 hours GMT. And then in a slight mix-up, we're going to be changing it up to Wednesdays and Thursdays, evening casting, 1700 hours GMT. That's when you can catch me at Magpie842. If you can't join us live, you can catch the VODs at youtube.com/Magpie842. So, without further ado, let me bring you into this game of Company of Heroes 2. Spawning in the north, playing as the Overcommand West Pieces, it is going to be the Red Hot Chili Nipples. And spawning in the south, playing as the United States Forces, it is going to be Crab Chicken the Bidoof. So, like I said, it seems that all the good players right now are speedrunning the campaign, so this is a punt. I'm hoping that these two players can put together a game that's going to be entertaining to watch, but that's never a guarantee when you're casting unknown players from the top of the ladder. So buckle in, this could be a weird one. Looks like we've got a Kubel first opening, so already that puts us into the lower percentage of opening builds that we see from OKW players. And that Kubel wagon, of course, going to head out on the map and start trying to cap some points. Looks like Crab Chicken is going to go ahead and pick the Armoured Company. Sorry, no, it's the Tactical Support Company, my bad. So this is a 1919 LMG rack company or commander pick, which also gives you the Calliope, the Strafing Run, the Recon Run, and the M5 half-track. So yeah, this is actually probably my favourite underused US commander. I feel like we don't see this guy very often because there's just other better things to be doing with US, but still a very cool commander with a lot of interesting gear. Red Hot Chili Nipple is going to be running with Overwatch, Grand Offensive, and Feuersturm, which definitely sounds like it could be a Rammstein track. So, alright. These two players are going to make their opening moves, draw the opening battle lines, and then we're going to get this game underway in earnest. Huh, that's interesting. Okay, so it is impossible to drift a tank. That's because tanks actually don't have front and rear articulation. They just have one consistent point of articulation, a track that goes down the side. So that actually would make it very hard, if not impossible, to drift. I'm racking my brain to figure out a way that you could drift with a vehicle that's configured that way. It would be very difficult. Unless, of course, as you say, you froze the ground. Do you guys remember when we used to see maps which had frozen lakes and stuff in this game? Like frozen rivers, frozen lakes, and the tanks really would sort of flail around quite a lot on those. But for better or for worse, in fact, largely for better, we don't see those maps anymore. Yeah, I really don't miss the feeling of seeing one of my vehicles fall through the ice. I mean, as fun as it was to like one-shot your opponent's vehicle and see it crash through the ice, it really didn't make for a very sort of fun-feeling gameplay generally. So yeah. So, American forces getting off to a relatively dominant start here, doing pretty good. Taking decent trades, as we're used to seeing against the OKW infantry. Looks like an incendiary grenade was used to force a rifleman squad back here. And it's going to be Lieutenant Tech for the American player. So, yeah, we're pretty much used to seeing that as well. So, of course, option for the Stuart or the utility car. Utility cars have kind of been bizarrely back in fashion today, haven't they? Is that a shift in the meta generally, or is that just like because I've got a small sample size of games cast today? Feels like we've seen actually a lot of utility cars today. Like maybe 3 games? And to be fair, they've looked good. I mean, the utility car has always been good. I just feel like it's fallen out of favour for some reason lately. Protect the flank! Alright, so it's going to be 50 cal first out the gate from this Lieutenant Tech.
We're losing a capture point.
Has he lost a squad of Volksgrenadiers? Did I miss that?
Infantry attacking in force.
No, he hasn't lost a squad of Volksgrenadiers. Okay.
The Americans have cut our supply line.
So it's going to be an MG34 here for Red Hot, and that does make sense. This is Langraskaya.
Target that infantry. Defend the flank. Heavy machine gun team ready for battle.
Here comes the MG34. Storm Pioneers here going to have their charge blunted by the presence of this 50 cal. And this has been a pretty bleak opening for this OKW player. Kinda just getting dominated by USF stuff. Struggling to find any trades which are very favourable. Struggling to find any real meaningful value with any of these units. And it's going to be a Stuart follow-up. And like, the pieces are actually not there to deal with a Stuart. Not really. We don't have the money even for a Kettenwerfer to be on the queue. We will by the time the Stuart arrives, but like, this looks pretty bleak. This is what I'm wondering, Mobson. Like, why is this OKW roster so small? Where has the manpower gone? That's why I was just like, has he lost some Volks? Hang on, let me just check the... I mean, he's not actually lost any units. It just feels like he's super outnumbered. But I mean, sometimes when you play against Americans, you just forget that they get free squads with their tech. If you just ignore the lieutenant, like, these actually are the same amounts of manpower. It's just that the OKW players had to spend manpower on a truck, and the truck is not a unit that's fighting out in the field. So, like, I don't know... Right, exactly, yeah, it's the early teching for battle group and heals. Yeah, you're quite right, Comrade Strellock. That is the power of USF. It's why they have such strong early game, usually, because you get these beautiful kind of free, in inverted commas, squads for teching, which is like, it's great. Nobody else gets that. It's really strong. It's very strong. Okay, oh my god, Volksgrenadiers finally get an incendiary and force this 50 cal out of the hood. And, oh man, the MG34 as well, also forced away. Triple cap has been established for a little while here now, 391 tickets and bleeding for Red Hot, so we definitely need to get something done out here. Kettenwerfer comes on the queue, the Stuart is going to reveal itself, so Kettenwerfer going to be an adaptation there to help deal with that. The M7 light anti-vehicle mines are also popping up around the place. Oh wow, there's quite a lot of them actually, there's one there as well. Woo! Sorry. Yeah, we've been casting for like 3 hours now, so if I'm not talking all the time, it's just my voice is just like a little sore, getting a little bit tired. So I'm kind of waiting for this game to warm up a little bit more before I kind of launch into like full commentary. Because these exchanges are relatively straightforward, and I'm sure most of you viewing know Company of Heroes 2 quite well. Man, this is looking so rough though. Because Langraskaya almost always becomes a grind for control of the victory points in a late game scenario. Hey Elpern, thank you very much for the follow, friend. Awesome. You know, we cast your games quite often actually, Elpern. So it's really cool. Thank you very much for the host. Thank you very much for the follow. Your support means a lot. It's really cool. But Yeah, Langriskai often often builds up to a sort of really grindy late game where both players are sort of desperately controlling or trying to fight for control of the victory points. So getting a 200 ticket lead at like the sub 10-minute mark, I mean, that's really good. That is going to mean that your opponent is going to be obligated to try and take some pretty terrible fights later on, or else lose the game for victory point attrition. So it looks pretty smart. The 1919 LMG racks as well are going to be providing a lot of value here. I don't know if the 1919 LMG has been nerfed a bit because it doesn't seem as potent as I remember, but it's still utterly devastating and it's still a super useful tool for United States forces to have access to. Oh no, not the Storm Pioneers! Come on, man, fall back, fall back! Whoa. Man, because this Stuart can just overrun. So those Storm Pioneers lucky to escape, to be honest. And where's the Rakettenwerfer? It's looking for the Stuart, but I mean it's just not fast enough. The Stuart will be able to slip away. Oops! Ah, come on, mouse. Actually, you know what? He finds a good hit with the Kettenwerfer. Fair enough. Whoa! He takes another shot. That was a little bit close. And yeah, you're right, Dan. A good core of STG Volks, going up to 3 squads of Volks. The double MG I really like, actually, especially if you're getting off to a rough start on this map. The double MG is really nice. If you're fighting on your side of the map, the MGs, like, falling them back is not nearly so onerous. If you're fighting over here, falling the MGs back means that they're out of action for, like, ages. But if you're kind of fighting on your half of the map, the MGs are actually, like, able to bounce back into the fights, like, really quick. And fighting into double MG as USF in the early game is, like, pretty rough. So, I definitely like going for the double MG34 early on here. Jadek, thank you very much for the follow, friend. Thank you very much. We're using casting RTS as a means of sanity preservation. I'm out here just trying to stay sane in lockdown, and thank you very much. Your support means a lot there, friend. Thank you. I hope you enjoy the casts in the future. So yeah, this double MG is a nice place to be. 3 squads of Volks are now out. STGs are popping up on them. And I feel like Red Hot is beginning to stabilize. If we crack the tack, we can see Axis forces are kind of being able to break out. We've got one of the VPs, which is crucial, although for how long, I'm not sure. If we can get a fuel point, that will be really nice. You know, I always say if you can hold on to 1 fuel point and 1 VP, you will have a chance later on. But to be honest, Red Hot for most of this game has not really been able to do that, so it's kind of looking rough. No! Unforced error. Oops. Unforced error on the Storm Pioneers is going to be utterly brutal. Ripper X57. Oh god, the squad wipe comes through. Blah, 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 blah. Well, that's really gross. Storm Pioneers are an integral squad that must be rebuilt. But yeah, Ripper X57, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome aboard. Welcome to the Mag House. And yeah, we cast all kinds of RTS here, but Company of Heroes 2 is definitely my go-to. It's definitely my most casted game. And it's looking rough here for Red Hot, I'm not going to lie to you all. Hemorrhaged a squad of Volks as well as the Storm Pioneers in that little last phase of play there. The Stuart will... The Stuart will sneak away as that Rakettenwerfer desperately looking for it. Won't connect though. I thought it might there for a second, but it won't. And now we're like double Volks, double MG, Kettenwerfer against... Is that actually 350 cals? Jesus. Against 350 cals, triple rifleman, lieutenant with 1919s. I mean, son, I don't want to be harsh to you, Red Hot, but you ain't gonna take fights. You're just not gonna take any fights, I don't think. That's over, isn't it? Is that over? Yeah, Red Hot's gonna throw in the towel because that is over. Wow, Jesus, man. Okay, well, I mean, Crab Chicken the Bidoof just getting off to a ridiculously good start, sorry, and then just getting further ahead. So that's pretty nasty. Okay, cool. Well, an interesting batch of games caught today. I'm going to bring you all back to a camera view of my face so that I can say goodbye. We've been casting now for, what, 3.5 hours? No, nearly 3.5 hours, though. And it's been a hell of a day, actually. We've caught some interesting stuff on the ladder, some really interesting games. Good to see Orange Pest as well, live on the ladder, because Orange Pest is active in chat, and so it's just nice to catch a few games from them, see exactly what's going on. So I am going to host up, I don't know, I'm just going to host up Helping Hands because he's a dude. And I guess he's probably like speed running the campaign because that's what everyone's doing at the moment. Oh, for goodness sake, come on. My computer is freezing. There we go. Yeah, but before I do, let's announce. Let's just give one more schedule shout out. So next week we're going to be casting on Monday at 1200 hours GMT. Midday Magpie. Hans is offline. Oh, yeah, you're right. Oh, well, thanks Twitch for telling me that he is online. That was useful. Yeah, you're right. He's totally offline. Thanks very much. My God, I am top of the Company of Heroes 2 viewers list right now. Good God, it's almost a shame I have to go, but I do have to go. I've got to get my weekend plans underway. I've got to get out on the motorbike and get off to where I'm needed. But I'm just going to see. I mean, Imperial Dane is streaming. I've never met Imperial Dane, but he is a name that I recognize at least. So I'm going to hand you all over into the hilariously accented, very capable hands of Imperial Dane. Raid. Imperial Dane. I think that's all one word. Okay, yeah, but before I do, yeah, so we'll be casting Monday at midday. We'll be casting Wednesday and Thursday next week. Yeah, thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. This for now, Magpie 842, signing out.